Good evening, all, and welcome to the board meeting of October 7th, 2025. And we will have the colors brought in. If you'd all stand.
Detail. Halt. Left. Face. Present. Arms.
Okay, and if we could have our Boy Scout Troop 173 lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And if we could remain standing and hold a moment of silence. Today is the 2-year anniversary of the attacks on Israel at the music festival. And we've had a couple of events in town, making sure that we stand strong in condemning all acts of terrorism. And if we could just have a moment of prayer for not only peace, but the return of the hostages and hopefully an end to this encounter. Thank you. So we'll do introductions real quick, and then we're going to skip around a little bit on the agenda.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. I apologize. We do have a special treat today, so we'll all need to stand once again as Joyce Pagliuca will lead us in God Bless America. No, I'm sorry, the national anthem. Thank you so much, Officer Pagliuca.
Detail. Order. Arms. Right. Face. Forward. March.
Thank you. Please be seated. All right. Sorry about that. Thank you for the reminder, Chief. If we can start with our introductions, to my right.
Good evening, Diana Quast, Town Clerk.
Good evening. Luciana Howitt, Councilwoman.
Supervisor Ed Lachterman.
Sergio Esposito, Deputy Supervisor.
Good evening. Patrick Murphy, Town Council.
Good evening, Susan Siegel, Councilwoman.
Adam Rodriguez, Town Attorney. Good evening.
Great. So now we're going to move into some proclamations, and as I said, skip ahead a little bit. I'm going to start as we have a special, we have the 60th anniversary of Boy Scout Troop 173 here in Yorktown. If our scouts can stand and come up front, and their leaders. Chris, don't think you're sitting back there. All right. We have a proclamation for our scout troop, and this 7th day of October 2025. Whereas for 60 years, Boy Scout Troop 173 of Yorktown has been a guiding light for young men in our community, instilling the core values of leadership, service, and integrity through the principles of scouting. And whereas, since its founding in 1965, Troop 173 has provided countless scouts with opportunities for personal growth, outdoor adventure, and civic engagement, while emphasizing the importance of community service and good citizenship. And whereas Troop 173 has produced 115 Eagle Scouts, each of whom has demonstrated exceptional commitment, character, and leadership both within the troop and in service to the broader community. And whereas the success and longevity of Troop 173 is a testament to the dedication of the Scoutmasters, leaders, volunteers, and families who have generously given their time, energy, and support over the past 6 decades. And whereas for 6 decades, Troop 173 has served as a cornerstone of the Yorktown community, developing generations of young men into leaders of strong character, civic responsibility, and selfless service. Whereas in recognition of their 60 years of outstanding service, leadership, and commitment to shaping future generations of responsible citizens, we do hereby proclaim today, October 7th, 2025, as Boy Scout Troop 173 Day. Now therefore be it resolved that I, Edward A. Lachterman, and the Town Board of the Town of Yorktown celebrate this milestone and express our deepest gratitude for 60 years of meaningful impact. So I need to ask a question. Is that number off now?
It is off.
I understand that we have a newly minted Eagle Scout today. Who is that Eagle Scout?
Well, let's make the day a little
You have to come up to the...
So we are a little off, and thank you everyone for letting us be here tonight. Thank you for doing this for our troop.
Absolutely.
Thank
It's
you.
our pleasure to be
Thank
here
you
as
guys
well.
for what you do in the community.
We are so proud to be here. I'm going to introduce the town to our 117th Eagle Scout. Will Louis Cicito come up? We have a tradition. We leave the troop neckerchief on because he's always a part of the troop, no matter what. But now he's an eagle.
Louis, why don't you go to the mic and tell us a little bit about your Eagle project?
Surprise!
Wasn't expecting this, but my Eagle Scout project was renewing the VFW sign because I felt like people didn't actually really know what like the building was. The sign was small. It didn't really look that good. So I wanted to show people like what the building actually was so they could actually like see the veterans and maybe like if they wanted to they could go in and thank them.
Chris, if I could give you this
Thank you.
proclamation for the troop.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Everybody.
And if-
Great job. This is a real
And Scouts, if you guys could come through, please. Louis, come on through.
Shake your hand. Congratulations.
Thanks, brother. Congratulations.
Nice.
What's up, brother? How you doing?
Congratulations.
Have you been down to the senior center recently?
Just got Eagle next. Eagle next.
Let's not do it over the computer.
Handshake.
Yeah.
Great job, guys. Thank you.
Great job, guys.
It's okay. It's only Patrick.
Congratulations. 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 Good to see you.
Good work.
Thank you.
How are you?
Congratulations.
You're eager. Thank you for your service.
I got to tell you though, Troop 173, you guys are all right. You guys do so
Legends.
much for the community.
All right.
So that's all right.
Okay, so while we're in proclamations, why don't we finish the other two very important proclamations? Luciana?
Yeah. Whereas breast cancer remains one of the most common cancers among women worldwide, affecting millions of individuals, families each year. And whereas early detection and increased awareness can significantly improve survival rates. And continued research is critical to finding a cure and better treatments. And whereas Breast Cancer Awareness Month is an opportunity to honor those we have lost, support those who are currently battling the disease, and celebrate survivors who inspire us with their strength and courage. And whereas we commend the healthcare professionals, researchers, advocates, and organizations like Support Connection here in town, dedicated to advancing breast cancer awareness, education, and treatment. Whereas we encourage all citizens to wear pink, learn about breast cancer prevention and early detection, participate in activities that promote breast cancer awareness, and support efforts to raise funds for research, education, and support services. Now, there it be resolved, on behalf of Ed A. Lackerman, along with the Town Board of the Town of Yorktown, hereby join the rest of the country in recognizing October as National Breast Cancer Awareness Month.
Thank you. And as you mentioned, Support Connection, let's try to bring this over to their office tomorrow. Support Connection just had an outstanding walkathon. I felt like I walked it, even though I didn't, because we had to park so far away from the main field that they were in. It was unbelievable. I know we have two of our elected officials who sit on the board, one Diana Quast and Dave Paganelli, and you guys do some great work with that. Thank you for that.
Thank you.
Sergio, LGBTQ plus History Month.
Proclamation on this 7th day of October 2025. Whereas LGBTQ plus History Month is an opportunity to recognize and celebrate the invaluable contributions of lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer, and other LGBTQ plus individuals throughout history, and to honor the ongoing struggle for equality, dignity, and inclusion. And whereas the LGBTQ plus community has made significant contributions to the arts, sciences, politics, education, business, public service, and every aspect of our society, often in the face of discrimination and adversity. And whereas by acknowledging the history and heritage of the LGBTQ plus community, we affirm the importance of diversity, inclusion, and human rights, and we commit to building a more just and equitable future for all. And whereas LGBTQ plus History Month also serves as an opportunity to educate ourselves and others, to reflect on the progress made, and to reaffirm our dedication to ensuring that every person, regardless of sexual orientation or gender identity, is treated with respect and fairness. Now, therefore, be it resolved that on behalf of Edward A. Lachterman, along with the Town Board, encourage all residents to recognize and honor the contributions of the LGBTQ plus community, to stand against discrimination in all its forms, and to continue working hard toward a more inclusive and welcoming society.
All right, thank you so much, Sergio and Luciana, for reading those. And now we have a presentation by Chief Robert Noble, Yorktown PD.
Good evening.
Good evening, sir.
And good evening, everybody. We could do better than that. Good evening, everybody. Thank you very much. I'm very proud tonight to introduce to you recent promotions and assignments that occurred at the Yorktown Police Department. It's been quite a busy year. As I've said before at prior town board meetings, we've got great people, and unfortunately, some retire and move on, and we lose talent. But we're blessed that we hire well. We hire very, very good people with excellent character, who work hard, take pride in their work, and also love their brother and sister officers and do the best that they can in their interests. And you see 5 individuals before you who I am proud to introduce to you this evening, and you'll get to know a little bit more about them. And again, I'm proud to do it. Before I do begin, can I get a round of applause for the Yorktown Police Department Color Guard this evening? Our Color Guard, Honor Guard, again, brings pride to our police department. It was something that we were without for many years. We had it, lost it, and I knew we had the right people that we could do this again and really bring even more pride to a very prideful job. And as you see it here tonight, Officer Odar, who's standing there, Luis, you can raise your hand. He still proudly serves our country in the National Guard. He's a member of military service. So again, we're grateful to have him. Officer Ashley Sakaza. Ashley, you raise your hand. Where's Officer Tiffany Charles? Are you out there?
He's in there.
Ah, you're in the other corner. Hey, Tiffany. And last but not least, a very beautiful rendition of our national anthem, Officer Joyce Paliuka. One of the nicest parts. I mean, our officers have so many different talents. And after I'm done presenting our officers, while you heard Officer Paliuka sing the national anthem tonight, Officer Brian Mundy, who's our SRO at Crom Pond Elementary School, is standing there with his hat on. He sang God Bless America at the Yorktown Central School District First Responders Night very recently.
Yes, he did.
And he was followed by Officer Sakaza, who sang our national anthem that night at the football game. So again, just, your officers, they don't have to they do wonderful things in this community. And I thank you very much. All right. At this time, I'd ask Captain Justin Foley to please join me on stage. Justin Foley is a lifelong Yorktown resident, married to his wife, Tony Ann, also a lifelong resident, and they raised their 5 children. Justin is active in the community and has volunteered over the years as a coach for the boys' football and lacrosse teams, as well as a coach for girls' lacrosse. Justin graduated from Yorktown High School in 1994, during which time he also became an Eagle Scout. He attended Herkimer County Community College, as well as SUNY Potsdam. In August of 1998, Justin was hired by the New York City Police Department, attended the academy, and was assigned to PSA 7, the housing bureau in the South Bronx, where he worked a foot post and was then assigned to the midnight shift. During his time with the NYPD, he received several commendations while working patrol. He was also involved in the rescue and recovery efforts at Ground Zero, and over the next few months following the attacks at 9/11, he spent days at the Staten Island landfill detail, sifting through debris and recovering human remains. In October of 2002, Justin was hired by the Yorktown Police Department. He was assigned to patrol, and in 2006 was assigned to the Yorktown Police Department K-9 unit with his partner, K-9 Moose. Then Officer Foley and K-9 Moose worked patrol for 8 years and were involved in numerous narcotics searches, building searches, tracks for suspects, and missing persons, as well as handler protection and routine patrol. As a K-9 unit, they were responsible for many arrests, such as tracking, locating, and apprehending a burglary suspect who fled into the woods at night, as well as locating and apprehending a fugitive from justice wanted by the state of California. K-9 Moose was retired in 2014, and then Officer Foley returned to patrol. During his time as a police officer with the Yorktown Police Department, Justin conducted numerous undercover narcotics operations, was a field training officer, as well as a desk officer. In 2016, Justin was assigned to the traffic unit as the department's traffic safety officer. On June 22nd, 2016, Justin was promoted to the rank of sergeant. And I know that because he was the first officer I got to promote as sergeant when I became chief of police. He was assigned a squad to lead and to supervise. He was also tasked with ensuring that all businesses selling alcohol in the town of Yorktown were in compliance and properly licensed with the New York State Liquor Authority. On March 25th, 2020, Sergeant Foley was promoted to the rank of lieutenant and assigned as a patrol division commander, where he oversaw the entire patrol division, the school resource unit, and coordinated with resources within the county for victims of domestic violence. Lieutenant Foley was the liaison and made follow-up referrals to the mobile crisis response team to assist individuals experiencing a mental health crisis. During his time as a lieutenant, he helped plan and coordinate the safety and security of numerous parades and community events. He was assigned and currently oversees the department's accreditation program as the program manager. Justin is a member and oversees the Yorktown Police Department Honor Color Guard. And during his time as a patrol division commander, he attended the FBI leader courses on supervisor leadership, command leadership, and executive leadership, earning the FBI Leadership Trilogy Award. In January of 2025, Lieutenant Foley was assigned as the operations commander, where his duties covered overseeing the detective and juvenile division's warrants, the department property and evidence system, department training, internal affairs, employee illness and workers' compensation claims, and various other tasks that are not listed here. In May of 2025, Lieutenant Foley was assigned as a staff division commander and was responsible for communications, records management, public information, facility maintenance, and finance budgeting. And then finally, on June of 2025, Justin was one of 69 command staff officers from New York, New Jersey, and Pennsylvania to be selected to attend and graduate from, again, the FBI Leader School, the Mid-Atlantic Law Enforcement Executive Development Seminar that was hosted in Princeton, New Jersey. He was promoted in June of 2025 to the rank of captain and reassigned back as the operations commander where he currently serves. During his career, he has received several commendations for meritorious police duty, exceptional merit, and life-saving awards. Some of these incidents include arrests for rape, robbery, burglary, bribery, gun arrests, and numerous stolen vehicles. He's been a busy man throughout his career.
Yeah.
And I'm proud that he is our next captain, a position that we sorely need at the police department. And again, as I said earlier, I was proud to promote him back in 2016, and I don't forget, he was the first sergeant I promoted. He's been hardworking, loyal, trustworthy, polite, and respectful, and just overall an asset, and that I'm proud to work at the hip with, and that we're a better agency for having Justin, and I couldn't be happier for him and his family tonight to see this happen. All right, great man and great partner in law enforcement. Can I get a very nice round of applause for Captain Justin Foley? And at this time, I'd like to ask the Foley family to join me. His wife, Tony Ann, who's going to pin him, son, John, daughter, Kaylee, daughter, Katrina, daughter, Kelsey, daughter, Kira. You're doing it.
One chance to get back in.
And again, one of the nicest things before he takes the oath from Town Clerk Diana Quast, I did invert the order a little bit with this one, I will admit. But, he homegrown. I mean, you're looking at Yorktown right here, okay? Cares about the town, cares about all of you. And it's a nice thing to come back, come home, and protect and serve in your community. And he's done a damn fine job. So, Justin? Don't go anywhere, Foley family. You're going to surround Captain Foley while he takes the oath from Town Clerk Diana Quast.
Ladies, come on up.
Yeah.
Closer.
I state
solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New
and
York,
the Constitution of the State of New York,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of
and I will faithfully discharge the duties of
Captain in the Yorktown Police
Captain of the
Department
Yorktown Police Department
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability. So help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
And Captain Foe is going to share a few words with all of you once he's done shaking hands.
I'll keep it short. It's enough hearing about me. It's nice to see the troop here. My two brothers were Eagle Scouts from that troop. Unfortunately, I had to leave that troop back then. It was getting smaller back then, so I went somewhere else. But it's a great troop. What you learn back there is going to carry you throughout the rest of your life, so stay with it, please. I'd like to thank the supervisor, the town board for the opportunity, as well as support you guys show us daily to do our jobs and serve the community. I want to thank Chief Noble for the opportunity, as well as his guidance and leadership over the years. Thank you to the rest of the command staff, who are a pleasure to work with alongside every day. I especially want to thank the sergeants, detectives, officers, and civilians at the Yorktown Police Department who make my job easy. Especially the men and women who are working the street 24/7, 365 days a year. You guys are the backbone of this police department and risk your lives every day with this profession. You guys are what makes this department great and the reason we are one of the best police departments in the nation and able to achieve our high standard of community policing. Most importantly, I want to acknowledge my faith in Jesus Christ, his daily guidance, and I want to thank my family for always being there for me and understanding the demands of this career that it puts us through. Getting a little choked up with that.
Yeah, I love it. Amen.
At this time, I'd ask Lieutenant Matthew Rassiopo to please join me. Lieutenant Matthew Rassiopo grew up in Yorktown and graduated from Yorktown High School in 2001. After high school, he joined the United States Marine Corps Reserves. He served on active duty status for several years, which included a deployment to Iraq. Upon returning to reserve status, he continued to serve while attending college at John Jay College of Criminal Justice and earned a bachelor's degree in forensic psychology and a master's degree in criminal justice. Lieutenant Rassiopo was honorably discharged from the Marine Corps in 2012 and was hired by the Yorktown Police Department a short time later. During his time with the Yorktown Police Department, he served as a patrol officer, as a patrol supervisor, and as a detective sergeant. He has also served in the roles of accident investigator since 2014 and as a drug recognition expert since 2018. Lieutenant Rassiopo has two brothers who are also first responders. His brother Kevin is a police officer with the State University Police, SUNY Purchase, and his brother Ryan is a firefighter with the White Plains Police Department. In his role as drug recognition expert, Lieutenant Rassiopo is one of the few in New York State. This is a difficult position to achieve, very demanding. You get called out at all hours of the day and night, and it's on you to determine, with the training that you've received, if somebody is driving under the influence of narcotics. And Lieutenant Rassiopo has been dependable, reliable, and an asset for not only his brothers and sisters at the Yorktown Police Department, but also police departments countywide and in other counties. His assistance is invaluable as a drug recognition expert. He takes pride in everything he does at the Yorktown Police Department. Hardworking, so very deserving of this promotion. And again, a local graduate, went to high school here locally, here to protect and serve his community. And we're thrilled to have him, and he's got a very, very bright future here at the Yorktown Police Department. I get a very nice round of applause for Lieutenant Matthew Rassiopo. At this time, can I have wife Rebecca, son Jason, daughter Avery, please come up and join Dad and husband there, Lieutenant Rassiopo, as he takes the oath from the Honorable Diana Quast, and at that time he'll be pinned by his son Jason.
Please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Matthew Rassiopo,
Do
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of
and I will faithfully discharge the duties of
Lieutenant in the Yorktown Police Department
Lieutenant in Yorktown Police
according to
Department
the best of my ability.
according to the best of my
So help
ability.
me God.
So help me God.
Now, if Jason will do the honors.
Good job, buddy. Congratulations.
Good job.
And we'll hear a few words from Lieutenant Rasiopo.
Good evening, everybody. Real briefly, I appreciate you guys all coming out. I'd like to thank the chief. I thank the members of the department. Thank my parents and my in-laws and my wife and my beautiful children. Really proud to be here and really excited for the opportunity, but no one gets here alone, and I owe all of you guys, so thank you very much.
Amen.
All right, at this time, I would ask Lieutenant Anthony DiPietrantonio to please join me on stage.
Yay.
Lieutenant DiPietrantonio has been a member of the Yorktown community since he and his family moved to Yorktown in 1991. He graduated from Yorktown High School in 2004, where he played both soccer and baseball. Anthony then went to Castleton University, where he continued his baseball career and received his degree in sports administration. Anthony's father is a retired sergeant with the New York State Supreme Courts, and he retired after 30 years of service. His brother James is currently serving with the Putnam County Sheriff's Office as a deputy. Lieutenant DiPietrantonio was hired by the Yorktown Police Department on August 1st, 2008. He graduated from the Westchester County Police Academy in December of 2008 and was assigned to the Patrol Division. In 2019, he was assigned as a school resource officer for George Washington Elementary School. In 2020, he was trained and certified as a DARE instructor. On July 25th, 2022, then Officer DiPietrantonio was promoted to the rank of sergeant. During his career, Anthony has received multiple awards. In 2013 and 2014, he was recognized by the Mid-Hudson Region Stop DWI for excellence in DWI arrests. In 2015, he received the Yorktown Police Department Life Saving Award. And in 2017, 2018, 2020, and 2022, he received Excellent Police Duty Awards. Again, a local police officer done good, graduate of Yorktown High School, still cares deeply about this town. I can tell you, in my experience, his work at George Washington Elementary School, first SRO over there, right?
Yeah.
All right. And made a positive difference in that school that they still talk about to this very day. All right. He carried it forward to where we are right now, where Officer Paliuka is the current SRO over there at GW. But again, just, a great personality, cares deeply about his coworkers, and has fit in seamlessly since he was promoted in July of 2025. When you get promoted to lieutenant, they'll send you to sergeant school, and you go to supervisor school and you learn a few things, but you get promoted to lieutenant, you're expected to know quite a bit and hit the ground running. And I'm proud to say that both Anthony and Matt have done that. You jump right in. We're there as a resource. You can ask me, you can ask the captain or Lieutenant Rapisarda, who's been on a little bit right now. But again, we'll know quickly if you can figure it out and if you're going to excel in this role. And I'm proud to say that Anthony's doing so, and so is Matt. We're excited. We got young blood in the department in supervisory roles, and I think, you know what? It's a cycle where the officers who work under them, they're the beneficiaries, because everybody's working hard with the same common goal, that we all go home safely at the end of each tour, and that you all in the community are very well protected and treated very well. So if I could have a nice round of applause for Lieutenant DiPietrantonio. Lieutenant D, as we call him, it's quite That's a great name. I love that. I wish I had the name. But he's going to take the oath from the town clerk, Diana Quast. At this time, I'd like to have my good friend CJ DiPietrantonio join us, along with Trish. Please, come on up.
I state your name.
I, Anthony DiPietrantonio,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United
and the
States
Constitution of the State of New York,
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of
and I will faithfully discharge the duty of
Police Lieutenant in the Yorktown Police Department
Police Lieutenant in the Yorktown Police Department
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my
So
ability.
help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
And pinning Lieutenant DiPietrantonio will be his son, CJ, accompanied by wife, Trish.
Great job, Chris. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
And now we'll hear a few words from Lieutenant DiPietrantonio.
All right. I want to thank Chief Noble, Captain Foley, Supervisor Lockerman, and the entire town board for the incredible opportunity. I'm thankful for the entire command staff that has offered advice and guidance during my transition into this new position. Thank you to everyone at the police department, both officers and civilians that have expressed kind words and encouragement for my promotion. To my parents, brother, sister, and their families for their constant support and throughout my entire career. Lastly, to my wife and sons, one of which isn't here because we all want sleep tonight. Trish has been there since my first day in the academy. She's witnessed all the fun and the frustration that this job has to offer, and she remains supportive through it all. It's a privilege to work with the incredible men and women of this department, and I will continue. It's my goal to continue to represent them and this police department in a positive way. Thank you.
At this time, I'd ask Detective Sergeant Thomas Byrer to please join me on stage. Officer Thomas Byrer was born and raised in Yorktown. He graduated from Yorktown High School, where he received his Regents degree with honors. He then attended and graduated from Manhattan College, where he received his Bachelor of Science degree in physical education. In January of 2014, he was hired by the Yorktown Police Department, and after completing the Westchester Police Academy, he was assigned to the Patrol Division. During his time in the Patrol Division, Officer Byrer was very active, making proactive traffic enforcement arrests, as well as involved in multiple investigations aside from those arrests, which led to future arrests. He was assigned as a domestic incident follow-up officer, where he was tasked to follow up with victims in order to provide additional resources and assistance. During his time in the Patrol Division, Officer Byrer was additionally assigned as a field training officer, where he was responsible for training new hires and mentoring them here at the Yorktown Police Department. In 2017, Officer Byrer interviewed and was selected as a department canine handler. He then attended canine school in North Carolina, where he was teamed with his partner, Canine Officer Dallas. Officer Byrer and Canine Dallas have been instrumental in multiple narcotic-related cases, investigations, and arrests throughout their time together. One of those investigations led to Canine Dallas locating over 40,000 bags of heroin, which came to about 7 kilograms, 15 pounds, and approximately $250,000 in narcotic-related money, which was located in a concealed electronic hidden trap compartment of a motor vehicle. Canine Dallas and Officer Byrer are a state, regional, and nationally ranked canine team, with multiple certifications. They are also present at all public events, including Coffee with a Cop, as well as National Night Out. The team also visits a variety of schools and different age groups in order to give students the best understanding of what police officers and police canines do in their respective communities. In September of 2021, Officer Byro was promoted to the rank of detective. During this time in the detective division, Detective Byro was assigned multiple cases where he was able to conduct investigations which subsequently led to arrests in a variety of different crimes. Detective Byro was also tasked to the property and evidence management, sex offender registry checks, as well as becoming certified as a child forensic interviewer in Westchester County. In March of 2023, Detective Byro was promoted to the rank of sergeant. He was then assigned back to the patrol division to supervise a squad of officers. During this assignment, Sergeant Byro assisted and supervised various calls for service, investigative cases, and major incidents while proving leadership, support, and guidance to his squad of patrol officers. He was also assigned to manage our vehicle fleet, to oversee the department funding and management of stop DWI enforcement, as well as train newer patrol sergeants to assist in their transition to supervising officers. During his time in the Yorktown Police Department, Sergeant Byro has been an active member of the Yorktown PBA, including being both the PBA secretary as well as the vice president. He is also a member of our department peer support team, providing assistance to officers during stressful situations, both on and off duty. Sergeant Byro was also the recipient of a life-saving award in 2017, where he and retired police officer Fortunato utilized an AED and CPR in order to regain a pulse in a male subject who was not breathing and unresponsive. Sergeant Byro also received 6 excellent police duty accommodations for a variety of different service calls. Sergeant Byro comes from a long family line of law enforcement and is a third-generation police officer, succeeded by his father as well as his grandfather. A good majority of his family are first responders in police, fire, and EMS. I can say he's done we had to get that K-9 program back in Yorktown. We lost it for a short while. And Officer Byro and Officer Campion have just done a tremendous job in this community, meeting with so many different groups and proving how invaluable these canines are. There's a person in this room here tonight who I saw earlier whose husband was instrumental in us getting K-9 Dallas, and that was the former town supervisor, Thomas Diana. Donna, are you here? Mm-hmm. I saw you earlier. All right, Tommy would be proud tonight that Tommy's our detective sergeant this evening. And I can honestly say, seeing Tommy from when he began, I was a little nervous about hiring Tom only because I knew his dad. Played softball with his dad, and man, he was a good cop, but he was out of his mind sometimes. But I love the guy, and you're right, comes from a great family, and he has done nothing but volunteer for things. I'm a past PBA president. He was vice president, and there's things you have to work through. In a police department, there's different things that come up, and it's our job to kind of work through it. And he was an excellent representative, for his brothers and sisters in that police department when they needed it. That he's on our peer support team, and there's other officers that are here, this evening. I know Officer Charles over there. You're on it, and I know I'm missing some that are probably here, but. Being on that peer support team, it was very important to me and my command staff that, that the people who do that job on the road and go out there and get involved in all of these calls, that they had an ear, somebody who they respected and trusted, that they could, talk about things that were challenging to them. And it's a difficult, it's an honor to be selected for this assignment. But it can be a tricky spot when somebody's sharing this with you and you have to come to your bosses or come to somebody and say, hey, you know what, we need to talk about this confidentially. This officer may need some more help than we can provide. And that's something that not everybody's wired to do. And, it's something that you should be proud of, that service that you provide to the men and women of this agency. You see him in K-9 Dallas out everywhere, in the community, just one of the nicest, most polite, respectful officers that you could have. And again, you know, along with the theme, he's homegrown. He's a Yorktown boy coming back to, you know, protect and serve in his community. And, you know, I'll say it again. He does a damn fine job. Tommy, I'm proud to have you. Congratulations. A nice round of applause for Detective Sergeant Tom Byrer. He will take the oath from the Honorable Diana Quast, and he will be joined by Christina, his wife. Oh, boy. And is that TJ? And, oh, my God.
And the new baby.
Hey, buddy.
Tiny.
I want to see him pin him.
Hi, TJ.
No problem.
I state your name.
I, Thomas Byra,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and the Constitution of the State of New
and
York,
that I will faithfully discharge the duties of
and I will faithfully discharge the duties of
Detective Sergeant in the Yorktown Police Department
Detective Sergeant in the Yorktown Police Department,
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my
So
ability.
help me God.
So help me God.
And Tom's son, TJ, is going to pin him, and he'll be helped by Christina there.
See what you could do.
I gotta see. Good luck, Tom.
Smart guy. There it goes. Great job,
Doing a
TJ.
good job.
Great job.
All right. Woo!
Aw. Great job. Congratulations.
And you'll hear a few words from Detective Sergeant Byrer once he's done here.
Enjoy your new baby.
A lot of people are talking. I'm going to keep it very short. Just want to thank Chief Noble, Captain Foley, Lieutenant Rapisardo, Lieutenant Rasiopo, and Lieutenant DiPietrantonio. All the amazing men and women I work with every single day. They're the best. I can't say enough good things about them. They make my job tremendously simple. So thank you guys, everyone that's here. My parents, for all your support and just everything you've done for me over the years. Just, again, can't thank you enough. My beautiful wife. My two amazing kids. As you've heard, my son does a really good Chevy Camaro impression. He's been on the floor all day. And just members of the town board. And just thank you for the opportunity, and I'll do the best I can do.
Amen.
And as you can see, baby Charlotte was so quiet, I didn't know she was here. Oh my gosh, as you can see, there's been a lot of new things happening, and one of them, again, was a newborn there for the Byrer family. So again, so thrilled that little Charlotte could be here tonight, Christina. Thank you for bringing her. Well, Violet, I know you've been waiting for this all night. It's time. Daddy's going to come up. Sergeant Chad Delgado. He's joined me up here. Sergeant Delgado, Sergeant Chad Delgado, was born in Brooklyn, New York on September 5th, 1989, and shortly thereafter moved up to Cortlandt Manor, where he attended and graduated Walter Panis High School in 2007. After graduating high school, Sergeant Delgado attended Westchester Community College before he decided to join the United States Navy as an equipment operator for the Seabees in 2010. While in the United States Navy, Sergeant Delgado served in Guam and Afghanistan, receiving his Navy and Marine Corps Achievement Medal, the Global War on Terrorism Service Medal, the ISAF NATO Medal, the Afghanistan Campaign Medal, and the CB Combat Warfare Specialist Insignia. After serving his time with the United States Navy, Sergeant Delgado attended Pace University until he started his law enforcement career in 2015 with the New York City Police Department in the 4-2 precinct. 2 years later, Sergeant Delgado transferred to the City of Rye Police Department, where he later became the defensive tactics instructor, firearms instructor, and taser instructor. While hired by the City of Rye, Sergeant Delgado helped assist with the defensive tactics recruit training program for the Westchester County Police Academy from 2019 through 2025 to this current date. On December 14th, 2022, Sergeant Delgado joined the Yorktown Police Department, where he has held a position of defensive tactics instructor and taser instructor with his normal patrol duties. Throughout Sergeant Delgado's law enforcement career, he has received a total of 3 life-saving awards between the NYPD and the City of Rye. He expects to do more great things throughout the rest of his career with the Yorktown Police Department. Sergeant Delgado has informed me he is very proud to be a sergeant with the Yorktown Police Department and is extremely grateful for the opportunity to be given to protect and serve the good people of the town of Yorktown. You know, it took a leap of faith for somebody with, you know, Chad, Sergeant Delgado's experience to come here in 2022. He had time on with the NYPD, time on in Rye, and he took a pretty big pay cut to come here, as I recall. Right? Yeah. Yeah. But, you know what? Don't look at them, not me.
Thank you.
I think that's something the chief negotiated when he was PBA president.
Yeah, no. This is when we put the arm on them, Chad. So, all right. But again, good things happen to good people. You know what? He came up here, you know, brand new, had experience, but acted, you know, didn't come off cocky, arrogant, was one of us from the minute he stepped in. And you know pretty early on when you hire somebody, if they're going to hit the ground running and really fit in with the culture, and I'll say it, that's the most important thing that we have at the police department is a culture where, you know what, we know we have to be right and look after each other to be able to treat all of you in an exemplary manner, which we do. And he came up, he had that big smile, you know, even though he's a defensive tactics, you know, instructor and taser, and he could probably lay waste to just about everybody in this room. He's a friendly guy, and you see it right there. He's a friendly guy with a big smile and a big heart. And again, I'm very happy that this opportunity, you know, came to bear for Sergeant Delgado. I have every confidence that he's going to do a tremendous job out there and treat everybody well. And in his capacity as a defensive tactics instructor and taser instructor, help all of us go home safely at the end of our tours. Again, the one thing he doesn't have, he's the only one here not a homegrown boy, but he's Panis. He's right next door. So, you know what? He gets what we're trying to do up here in Yorktown. As I said, he fits right in and he does a fantastic job. And he gets along so very well with all of us here. So happy for you, Chad. Congratulations, and many, many more good years to come. Thank you. Well done. As Sergeant Delgado takes the oath from Town Clerk Quast, I'd like to ask his wife, Lauren, son Lucas, Liam, and little Violet. Oh, you've been waiting all night, Violet. All right. Step up to the clerk. She's friendly. She's not going to bite.
Please raise your repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Chad Delgado,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of
and I will faithfully discharge the duties of
Police Sergeant in the Yorktown Police Department
Police Sergeant in the town of Yorktown,
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my
So help
ability.
me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations. Thank you.
Okay.
I guess Lucas, Liam, and Violet are pinning their dad.
And Lauren's conducting.
And okay, Lauren.
This is a lot harder. There's too many fingers.
It looks like we've got a scrum.
Great job, guys. Watch your fingers, Violet. Great job.
And you'll hear a few words from Sergeant Delgado.
Congratulations. You know, Chief Noble negotiating.
I would like to thank my family first. I wouldn't be here for them all throughout my law enforcement career without their love and their support. I would like to thank Chief Noble of the Yorktown Police Department and the town board for giving me the opportunity to be here. And I would just like to let the public know that I will be performing to the best of my ability in this position. Thank you.
That is all I have for the presentation. I do have a couple more things real quick. I need to thank this town board. The reason why, a lot of the reason why we get it right so often, and we do, and you really do have the best police department, around. And I'm proud to serve with these men and women every day. Not only am I proud to do it, most days I have a pretty good time doing it. You know what? There's a lot of hard things and difficult things we work through, but you know what? What I'm most proudest of is that, I think we genuinely enjoy each other's company, on most days. And almost, come on, we're a family. Sometimes we squabble, but you see it in different towns where town boards interject themselves and, cut the legs out from underneath, police or the chief or the admin and the men and women on the street. And you all get it. You don't do it. And I thank you, for the years of support. And, anytime I've ever needed somebody to be sworn in at the last minute or anything like that, Diana, our town clerk, it's, I thank them, for the support that they've provided us because we really need it. This job gets nothing but more dangerous. We do try to, make it look easy and look seamless, but, there's quite a few bad people out there. And they do tend to wander up this way, which is why having a strong presence out there and intercepting cars and being able to, you'll see it on the agenda tonight, getting license plate readers. That's how we keep you all safe. I hope you all know that. There's some people who think it's Big Brother and this and that, but without them, we don't have half a chance to keep you safe. And it helps if we can keep you safe. It keeps all of us safe. And that's you're my priority, and they're my priority because I need them to go home safe at the end of each tour. So again, I thank everybody in the Yorktown community. And if I could, I know Miranda, you're here, right, from the local news. Now I could sound like a robot and talk down to you, but I'd rather talk with you. One of the things that we're seeing, in this community and in surrounding communities is that people are getting scammed out of their hard-earned savings every day. And, it's more so our senior community. And I see people here from Jefferson Village, and we love the Village people, and yeah. So I've offered, the offer always stands that if you need us to come present and talk to you, and that goes for any community, senior community, because what we're seeing half the time is truly heartbreaking. When my officers have to interview someone who's lost $40,000 or $50,000 and have to pray that their bank is going to cover that loss. We'll thankfully, if they call us soon enough, we go sit at a house and hope somebody shows up, and we jump out, grab them, and a lot of times it's a courier. It's not the big fish. And many times that big fish is in another country. So they're not here for us to bring to justice. So if I could ask you, for one thing tonight with that in mind is that, we all have, family and friends that we love. And, some of them may be a little more vulnerable than others. So if there is somebody coming through their computer with a pop-up saying that they have a virus or their money's at risk, or they get a phone call that somebody's been kidnapped, or that, hey, you need to withdraw this money now, and we'll come and get it, and we'll fix your problem. Your problem's just beginning. We need to talk. We need to talk with everybody, and I'll share that information as much as I can. Lord knows I tell you to lock your doors all the time, car doors and house doors, but the scams, people are getting hurt, with money going out the door. So I will ask this in layman's terms, where I'm not telling you you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do that. Please, as a community, we need to look out for each other, and that starts talking with people. And if you're struggling to have a conversation with somebody, bring up, hey, if anybody comes through your computer or anybody calls you looking for money, don't give it to them. Yeah. You know what? And if your kids call you looking for money, even ask them a couple of questions and put them through the ringer. But we're all that much more safer. And you know what? If I can bring this to you in a friendly manner, hopefully it resonates, and hopefully you can go out there and help us make a difference in this community in that manner. And again, you want us over there in the village, you let us know, all right? And we'll be there. I need to thank Dr. Hatter at the Yorktown Central School District and the athletic director, Rob Barrett. They had First Responders Night once again at Yorktown High School. And it took guts for them to do it because they were playing Somers, the state champs. But, hopefully we went out there and represented well. Unfortunately, this was the first year I couldn't make it, but quite honestly, it was one of my favorite nights of the year because the place is jam-packed with not only parents and adults, but students, high school students. And that's something that we try to make an impression every day. We have school resource officers in every school, elementary and high school. We're trying to not only keep them safe and secure and keep the staff safe and secure, but we aim to make a positive difference in those schools and help that school culture. And, that they see fit to honor first responders and let us take the field, and Officer Mullins here tonight, he was on a motorcycle that night, and our canines. It's a night for us to show up, and take pride in our work. And I'm proud that, close to 25 officers on their own time came out and walked out onto that field with their families. And we're proud that Yorktown High School and Yorktown Central School District honored us in that manner. So, while he's not here, if we get a round of applause for Dr. Hatter and his team and A.D. Barrett. They don't have to do that, but they did, and we're honored. So again, I thank you. I think we're going to be back here in November. I've got some new police officers to introduce. I've got another sergeant who had a baby today, who couldn't be here, and a detective as well to introduce to the community. Hoping to do that in November. But until then, I thank you all very much for your support and respect, and I thank everybody here. Thank you for your support for the great men and women of the Yorktown Police Department. Ready? All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Bob. Okay, as we've learned from the past, we're going to have a short recess as everyone clears that wants to leave. James has been working at over the summer. He was working at the nutrition center, volunteering.
He's a good kid. Funny.
He is. What was that? Wouldn't mind, but I don't think it's going to happen. God bless. Mr. Brady, how are you?
I heard you singing, Mr. Brady. All these allergies are killing me.
All right. I think we're just about there. All right, we're going to jump to reports from the town. I had wanted to talk about a couple things. Old Crom Pond Road Bridge, I was out there today. They've gotten quite a lot of work done in the last few days now that they've gotten the extension. But I want to explain a little bit about some of the things that are going on, because some people think it's as easy as just putting a bridge in, like popping something in and out. It's not a Lego set, unfortunately. What they've done there so far this week was they diverted over the last couple of weeks, they had worked on diverting the water. They're pumping out now the area where the base, the cement base for the bridge will have to be laid. That'll have to be cured for 2 weeks. They finally were able to finish moving the high pressure gas main that ran under the bridge. It was actually strapped to the bridge. What they did was they took the gas main, they went in the road a little ways down, they drilled down, and there's new machinery that they're able to push the piping through. So they were able to take the pipe and push it underneath the waterway and back up, and it came up about 30, 40 feet down the road and was able to come up through the road itself. So that's done. There's still a large, I believe, 24-inch water main that has to be diverted. That is through, actually our contractor is doing that, but it'll be under the supervision of both our water department and the Northern Westchester Joint Waterworks, because a 24-inch main, if that were broken or damaged, would mean instantaneous flooding in that whole area. It's a lot of water pouring out in an awful fast time. But they are really doing well. I want to thank Highway Superintendent Paganelli. I asked him to work on getting some signs up for dead end and no through traffic on the streets that people think are detours, and they're racing down only to find out that they can't get anywhere. I spoke to him about it over the weekend, and they went up today. So thank you, Dave, and your team for getting that done. Highly responsive there. But unfortunately, it's not an easy job. It was bid out. We have a very competent contractor that's doing it in Montesano Brothers. They are the ones who did Granite Knolls Park. So they're very, very good, and they are very cautious, safe, and getting the job done properly. I was extremely happy to see what was going on there today on my visit. I wanted to talk a little bit about the firehouse vote, because there's some misinformation out there, and I just want to make sure people understand that the firehouse is its own separate taxing district. Being that there are laws that are set up in New York State as to how they advertise, how they do their elections, when they can be done, and they have followed every rule that they're supposed to. People said that it was hidden, it wasn't advertised, but I can tell you that July 18th, it was the front page of the Journal News talking about the public hearings that they were having for that vote. It's sort of unfortunate that people didn't see it, but I can tell you from the numbers, which seem low, were about 5 times the average vote that they get. So people did see it, people did get out there, and you could probably extrapolate the votes for going for bonding against the votes against bonding, and the percentage would probably stay fairly similar no matter who got out there. But they have been working on ways to get that information out there better and get it out more widespread. And I will say that the schools had a very similar issue back in the day, and they've been getting much better. I know I've spoken to Dr. Hatter about some of these things, and it's all a matter of repetitious getting it out there and keeping the same sources. So they've been working on it, and they will keep working on it. There's also some questions about grants that came up. We just had a meeting for the DRI grant yesterday at the library. This is a possibility of up to a $10 million grant. When grants are giving out, they're usually given for a specific purpose. So we've gone for grants for water relining. We've gone for grants for culvert replacement. I think over by Jefferson Village, that was a grant, and there were two culverts done by grant on this side. We normally do not get, especially on the big opportunities, we do not get the big grants. We don't get the opportunity to say, hey, let's put it to this, this, or this. And even with the DRI grant, there's some people saying, well, you should do X, Y, and Z. Now, there's a process for getting the grant. That's why we have a grant writer, and they know the best ways to dress it up. You know, put that window dressing on it for what the state and the different agencies that are involved work at. But even with that, we can put projects in that when, I'm going to be positive, when we are awarded this $10 million grant, we'll have to put in $15 to $17 million worth of grants, maybe even more, because the state goes through and they'll trim it. So we don't even have the final decision as a town as what gets through the state. We grade it, we send it to the state on their grading system, and then we will have to look at that and hope that we get what we want to get out of it. But any improvements we can make, and this grant would be approximately half for the town and the half are for different community projects. And it could be a landlord who wants to do they have a store and they want to put apartments up top and do mixed use. It could be people that want to do parking lots. They're all different things, but the key is that they're in that community that we're trying to revitalize and work at it. So it's some great things, but it's a very, very complicated process. I highly recommend as we get through this G&G process, there are grant writers. They'll probably come and do more meetings to vet out some of the projects. So come to those. I highly encourage it. We had about a dozen people at the library yesterday for it, and it's very, very helpful to have the community support. I want to give a quick update on 118 Underhill. We're going to get some pictures so people could see what the finished product will look like, but as you can see, they've been digging out the roadway, the triangle. They are working on the curbing, the sidewalks, and today we had Con Ed out front all day. They have now run the high-powered wires because they have to, in order to widen the road, they have to move the telephone poles. They were able to run the wire. They were hoping to come back tomorrow, but with the threat of heavy rains and electricity, they don't go great together. But they are hoping Thursday, Friday to get everything finished on the wires for their electric, and then they'll need to have Cablevision is in next. They take care of their wires. Any independent companies come in for their wires, and then Verizon comes in, and then they're able to remove the old poles. It is quite a process, especially with Cablevision, since through this intersection run quite a bit of the fiber optic cables that control an awful lot. Hospitals, 911, there's a lot that goes through those cables. So there's specific things on how to do it, surveying all the different wires, tracing all the branches, and then they will do that overnight to have the least impact on anyone in the area. So if you rely on that cable, hopefully it's while you're sleeping and you're not a night owl like me watching TV until 3 in the morning, because I'll be awfully bored that day. I saw Lois here today. Hi, Lois. She's sitting over there next to John. She had spoken to my wife the other day about the burn notice that's in Westchester County, and I thought I would just make sure everyone was aware. Carol told me you saw her. All of New York State is under a burn ban until at least the middle of October, as per Governor Kathy Hochul. While the conditions outside have been beautiful of late, it's no secret the New York City area and the suburbs have been in need of rain, and as a result, the state is taking action to prevent wildfires and to conserve water. The ban will be in effect until October 15th, and then the situation will be reevaluated. The directive prohibits the burning of brush and debris outside, as well as campfires and open fires used for cooking. The governor has stated that backyard fire pits and contained campfires less than 3 feet in height and 4 feet in length, as well as small contained cooking fires, are permitted. And then there was another thing, and this was put out actually by one of the political parties, and I found it a little distressing. It was basically saying that there's a $24 million fund balance that should be used for the sewers and the water. Fund balance, as you understand government spending, fund balance is specific to different things. Our general fund balance can be used for highway stuff, could be used for town buildings, can be used for things. Sewer improvements and water improvements can only come out of those funds. It's similar to the firehouse. They raise their own taxes. We can't take our fund balance and say, hey, we're going to give you $15 million towards building your firehouse. The money can't switch accounts. It belongs to a specific account that taxpayers pay into. Now, some of us pay into the water district because we use water. Some don't. Different sewer districts. I can't take the money from the Halleck's Mills sewer district and use it in the Peekskill sewer district. It doesn't work that way. So I think it's a little disingenuous when that's put out there, trying to make an issue of fund balance. And there is also the understanding that fund balance is how we are able to fund a job. So in governmental management, you cannot start a project unless you have the money in the bank. So if we get a grant, we can't start that grant without having the money. And the majority of grants, not all of them, but the large majority, especially the big ones, are what is called reimbursable grants. We put the money out, we submit receipts, and then that money comes back to us from the agency with the grant. Some are very quick, some are glacially slow. So we have a responsibility to make sure that we are controlling that and not putting things out and doing jobs without having that money in the bank. So that is a very important aspect of fund balance, and it is why we had a clean audit report, and it's why, year after year, Yorktown is commended for how we manage our money by our auditors. And that is basically a state audit and how it's looked at, and our finance department and our team sitting at the table do a phenomenal job at that. Thank you, Howard. But that's what you vote for us for, and we take that extremely seriously. And when we hire our people, our professionals, we look at that as well. All right, that is it for me. I was going to talk about something, but I'm sure Sarah will be up to mention it. The Repair Cafe. So, Susan.
I'll let the others.
No,
go
we'll
first.
go with you.
Let them go first for change. Let them go first for change.
I'll go, and then Susan go next.
No.
So I just wanted the Boy Scouts, they did a great job, and I wanted to congratulate them. And they had 117 Eagle Scouts come out of that troop, which is pretty amazing, and that's a direct reflection on the parents that are raising these kids. You know, and there's another one coming up this weekend. John Mara. I'm not going to be around this weekend. I was invited. Nana? John Nana. But I was invited to go. I can't go. I'll be away. But again, it's the parents should be very proud of what their kids accomplish. It's not an easy task to get your Eagle Scout. So, on the 27th, the Run for Recovery was at FDR Park. They did a great job. You know, it was a great cause, and the weather was phenomenal. So, kudos to them, and they did a great job. And Ed, you had a nice drug epidemic awareness. It was great. You know what? So they came in here. There's 86 families afflicted by it, and I don't think there's one person in this room that is not afflicted by someone that knows someone. And it's just sad that there's 86 kids that are no longer with us, but there's 86 families and there's 86 grandparents. You know, it just runs down the gamut, and it's just sad. But you know, I'm glad that you keep awareness on it. It's good.
And I want to thank the parents who have the strength to come and talk about it, because that's really.
They read the names of all 86, so you did a great service there. And then I just wanted to simplify what you were saying, Ed, about the fund balance. The fund balance is basically it's common to everybody that lives in Yorktown. Sewer is specific, you can't use it there. Fire is specific, you can't use it there. The fund balance has to go where everybody that pays taxes has access to whatever they're using that fund balance for. I'm just trying to simplify it in layman's terms, that's all.
Yep.
But, all right, Susan, you're up.
No, go ahead, Sergio. Yeah, I'll come last for change. Go ahead.
All right. So, okay. Well, good evening, everybody. Let's talk about some fun stuff, because I always like to keep this portion of the meeting light. So, Sport Time Pickleball is hashtag open for business, and the place is absolutely spectacular. There is a grand opening that they're going to be having. I believe it's in a couple of weeks.
Wednesday the 22nd.
What's that?
Wednesday the 22nd.
Wednesday the 22nd. But if you haven't checked it out, it's really nice. The revitalization of that entire Yorktown Green has been just incredible, and it's really wonderful to see. We had the seniors at the Nutrition Center had Oktoberfest, and let me tell you, man, they could party over there. There was food galore. We had a rendition of Deanna and the Belmonts, Run Around Sue.
Yeah, Angelo from one of the original Belmonts comes down to the center, and he did Run Around Sue.
It was a lot of fun. It was really great to see this. The place was packed. I've never seen it that packed, but it was fun. It was fun being there, and most of us were there. And
if I could just throw out a thank you, there were 3 people that were instrumental in helping me with that. Noreen O'Driscoll, of course, who runs the community center. Jim Matarano, who he and his staff came and helped. Well, I should say even the town board came and served as well. So we had all of them. And Susan, were you a waitress in your former life somewhere?
She was rocking and rolling.
Susan was getting those
like
plates.
One hand on one tray in one hand, another one in one hand. She was throwing plates and they were landing. You know, it was amazing.
But I do really want to give a thank you. My lovely wife Carol has been edging, I think, for a seat on the senior advisory committee eventually when I'm out of office. So she was there and she helped plan with Noreen, and they put a tremendous amount of hours in. So thank you, Carol, Noreen, and Jim, for all your help on that.
So Yorktown Varsity Soccer had their senior night. Congratulations to all the seniors, and I know my son was a senior last year, and it's kind of just amazing the difference without having any children in the school system. I no longer wait for that 5 a.m. call to see if there's school or not. There was a rivalry football game, which happens all the time. It was Lakeland Hornet Nation against the Yorktown Husker Nation. That was a great game with the 2 teams, and it's just such a great community event. Watching the kids from both sides, it was really positive, really great to see all our youth just in one field, and everybody just getting along, and it was a great game too. There was the Lakeland football team had their homecoming the other night, and they did a Tackles for the Cure to cure breast cancer. Everybody was wearing a pink shirt. Again, amazing what our youth are doing and what they're thinking about. It's incredible. It is. We still want to. I would be remiss not to mention. And I know, Patrick, thank you for mentioning the drug epidemic awareness memorial. Yeah, I messed it up too. But last month was National Recovery Month, and I know National Recovery Month is over, but that doesn't mean we still shouldn't be, vigilant about looking around and seeing, trying to be aware of some of the signs from our friends and our family who may be suffering. Most of the time it just takes, a gentle touch. Hey, how are you? To actually prevent something very tragic. So, even though it was last month, keep an eye out for that. And the Hudson Valley Gateway Chamber's having their street fair this weekend on Sunday. And I'm going to try to make it there. I want to get to the Eagle Scout on Sunday, but I am going to Salem, Massachusetts to witness the witch trials once again. So I can't wait. It's gonna be a lot of fun. We go every year. So when we first started going, when my kids were actually scared of ghosts, and they couldn't go into haunted houses, and now the haunted houses have become very, very expensive. So thank you for being here tonight. Great presentation from our police department. Great men and women that we have serving here.
Amen.
And let's get on with the meeting.
Yeah. I mean, this is not fair. You're going to have to start leaving some stuff on the table. I'm just really glad to be here. I feel like we haven't been here in a while. So I'm glad to see the same faces and some new faces. And I can pass it off to Susan.
Okay. I've got a couple of updates that I want to talk about. One, I learned just quite by accident, actually, at the senior luncheon, that a survey is going around for seniors to see what programs, facilities, what they feel their needs are. It turns out that the survey is being sponsored by the Senior Advisory Committee, but I think the distribution is limited. So I would like to urge all seniors to either call up the Parks Department or the town clerk or the supervisor's office, or somehow find out what they are asking. It's a very simple question that they're asking. Two questions: what facilities and programs would you like? And they also know where you do your shopping, because that might affect the senior bus that helps bring people to shop. So I thank and I applaud the Senior Advisory Committee for doing this, but I just think it needs to be distributed more. I don't know if Jefferson Village people know about it, because it was only going to the people who are already participating in the senior clubs, and that's a very small percentage of our seniors. So let them know. Somebody said to me, I wish we had a Scrabble group. I said, fine, just get together, and there are rooms available in the community center building, and just pick a day and say, we'll meet Tuesday afternoon or Wednesday morning or whatever, and I'm sure things can be arranged. But the seniors need to speak
So
up.
Susan, I would say that don't pick a day without speaking to Parks and Recreation and the building department. All of those rooms are used and through different periods of the day. I wouldn't just assume.
Oh, well, they have to obviously schedule it.
Right.
The second, I'd like an update. We've been talking about putting solar installations on the rooftops of town buildings. In July, we rejected a bid because we only got, an RFP, and we only got one response. So we decided on July 1st that we would re-advertise. That was never done. And then on September 9th, we did another resolution and said we would do another RFP, and we would use Sustainable Westchester to help us improve the quality of the RFP so we would get more responses. As of yesterday, when I spoke to Sustainable Westchester, they have not gotten the agreement signed by the town for them to start doing the work. I think it would cost their cost would be $2,000.
So Susan, if I can,
so I'd like to know what the
it
delay
was
is.
it was sent out. They asked for a DocuSign. They still hadn't sent the DocuSign until they were like, we're going to send a DocuSign. They finally sent it today. We actually resent the written copy, and I just saw the DocuSign when I was up in the office for the meeting and haven't gotten to it. I'll do that after the meeting tonight, and I'll go on my computer. But
glad you
we were waiting on them, somewhere, probably because I think Noam was on vacation. I have a feeling something got lost when it went down, but I signed off on that the minute the resolutions came out from that meeting in September, which is how I usually do this, and it got sent down, but they did not have it. You actually, I believe I sent you the email from them.
Well, no, it wasn't signed, and I
Right,
spoke to
but, you
Leo
know.
Monday, because I was concerned because what you sent me wasn't signed. I'm glad that it's
yeah.
signed, and we're finally getting to, they will
I
present
did not,
the
yeah,
RFP.
I did not have the signed copy in my desk,
Get
and
that off. That was sent
Lorraine took care of-
in August.
took care of getting
All
it
right,
back out to them.
The other thing, an update, we have been talking about a streetscape basically for Downing Drive since 2022, when the town lucked out and got money from the federal government, the ARPA money. And we've been talking about that since 2022. And in checking back with agendas, finally, on the September 2nd meeting, there was a resolution to do an RFP to get a consultant to design the project. And I said, I want to see the RFP before we actually vote to advertise it. And I checked earlier this week, and the RFP still hasn't been written, all right? So we're holding on that. In the meantime, in June, the county had a $15 million grant that would help fund streetscape projects in municipalities in the county. They would pay 50% for design work and 100% for construction. And because we didn't have anything, we've lost out on that grant. And they don't know if it was a one-time deal from the county board. So we don't know if it'll be again. But I hope that we can finally get our design for the RFP done, so we can get this advertised and get moving, on this. So we would have something if the county board comes across the next year, or for any other future projects. This would also fit into the DRI. Also, an update on affordable housing. There are two types of, these are affordable housing that have been part of the town's affordable housing program that dates back to the late 1980s and early 1990s. Most of the units were for sale units, and they are deed restricted. So if they have to be, if the owner wants to resell, it has to go through, the resale price is restricted. In recent years, two units have been resold, and the Community Housing Board has overseen that process to assure that people, that it kept, and I think the price, Sarah, correct me, like $125,000, I think one townhouse went for. The problem is that, again, from previous years, there have been 5 rental units that had been set aside for affordable purposes. That's been under the radar, and we have found out that nobody is checking on whether the landlords who are leasing those units are following the guidelines in terms of who is eligible and what the rent guidelines would be. And the Community Housing Board has sent some information to our attorney, so that we have to work out, this is beyond the capability of the Community Housing Board, because it's very involved. You have to do detailed income checks and verifications. So we're reaching out to outside agencies to possibly administer this program. And so you're working, I think, on an RFP?
Yes.
Okay, so I hope that we can get this out soon, because we have these 5 units that are already existing that we have to verify, and there are 2 more units that are going to come on board when a project that's on Garden Lane gets built. So we want to proceed, so I hope that we can, the Community Housing Board would like to get that done soon. You mentioned the DRI, the grant, the $10 million for one in New York State gets $10 million, and in our Hudson Valley region, two municipalities will get $4.5 million. One of my concerns is that the grant writer who is putting all of this together has to work with the town board, because I think it's the town board's responsibility and our job to decide what projects go into this application. It's not just the grant writer talking to the supervisor.
Susan, I'm sorry.
No,
No.
no,
Because,
no,
because you
but
were you were at the meeting yesterday, and they explained, and I just explained as well. Please listen carefully. The application is window dressing. The grants,
I'm not
the
talking
grants
about,
themselves.
I'm not talking about that. Let me
grants,
interrupt you.
not-
No,
the
I'm
grants
not,
themselves, as he said yesterday, the supervisor sets a team of people with the town board that go through everything and score the projects. I don't put what's in it. You don't put what's in it. They come from the community. We score them according to a scoring system that's set up, and then they go to the state, and the state is the one who picks them. I want every project out there that seems reasonable, but they have told you they will not put in anything controversial. As you, they said
right.
point blank,
but
and
you're missing the point. Whatever goes into that grant application, okay, the town board, whether it's what the town is proposing and what the private sector projects, because as you described, it's a combination of both.
Of course
The
we'll
town
oversee.
board should have the final say, not just the supervisor, but the town board should have the final say in these 10 projects that we put in. All right? That's all I'm saying, and I would like to have a discussion at next week's work session on what projects the town board is considering for the town.
so next week's work session is the 14th. The application is due on the 15th.
No, as was explained last
Oh
night.
no, I'm sorry.
like-
All the deadline for the pieces are due on the 15th.
And so that then the town board will then decide on what will go in, which 10 projects, 20 projects, whatever will go in. And then the final application actually goes in November. What I am saying is because last year when this application was submitted, I just got a piece of paper and says, this is what it was, and I had no sense of what was going on.
Well, I know
what
you
was
asked.
going
I know
in.
you asked them for it. So and they will send it around, and we will be able to look at it.
I would
And-
like, before the grant writer puts something down on paper for I think it's October 17th, I would like the
15th.
town boards to have a discussion as to what would you like to see as a town project. Luciana, you mentioned you had some park issues that you would like to see. Ed, you mentioned the library. There's talk about a trolley system. There's issues whether, if the grant, as preliminarily it's been talked about as Yorktown Heights and Shrub Oak, but people are submitting projects in the Mohegan area or possibly the Jefferson Valley area. We need to see what we'd like to do, and I may have some suggestions that I would like to offer. So I'm asking, and I think the public should know what projects, not just you are considering with the grant writer, but what
We'll
what my
bring
fellow board
we'll bring
members
them
would
in,
like
we'll
to
bring
see.
them on Zoom. We'll have them go through everything that they're looking to put in, and
Not
they
what
and
they're
they,
looking to put in, what we're looking to put
based
in.
based on what's come in and based on Susan, we hire a grant writer because they understand what the people are looking for. This is all they do day in and day out.
And they ask the people to
And-
come to them.
And they gave us guidelines. It's a revitalization project. Okay, so we have the parameters of what the state is looking for, but we know what the town wants. We have to tell the grant writer. The grant writer doesn't tell us what to put
No,
in.
and I didn't.
But hold on, guys, hold on. But the grant writer is not telling us. The grant writer is suggesting some projects. We could look at their suggestions and use that as a baseline and launch it from there. And when we're looking at it, you could say, I'd like to see this in there too. That's it. I mean, I'm not sure what we're talking about here.
What we're talking about
The
is
people
an
of-
affordable housing project that came across over behind Cocoa Farms because Susan made a
No,
point of it.
I
Yes,
forget
but
that.
well, that's one issue that you had, and you were very very adamant about my keep an open mind on it. And I'll tell you what, it will be controversial. So they have said point blank, put in something controversial, you will not get it approved by the state. It'll kill the grant.
That's right.
So I think it is really important that we're cognizant of why we hire experts. I would not say to Dan Ciarcia, if he designed a bridge, well, let me look at it, Dan. I want to change it around because I'm not an engineer. I don't understand weight loads. I don't understand the pounds per square inch. The grants are almost that precise.
I said last night, okay, forget about the Cocoa Farms issue. It's a dead issue. Forget about it. So there is no reason for you to bring it up now.
You spoke about it for 10 minutes last night.
And I said after it was made clear that it wasn't going to be a go, I said drop it. And in fact, it came out that there was another possible project for a mixed-use housing development in Shrub Oak that possibly is more acceptable, and some of the
All
people
right,
in Shrub
and the people in Shrub Oak are able. But just hold on a second.
But I have.
Hold on. Just hold on. Let's not raise our voices. Let's just talk calmly and professionally. Okay. The grant writer is getting suggestions from the public. The people in Shrub Oak are going to put those suggestions in. He's going to compile the suggestions and he's going to show them to us, and then we can review it. What's wrong with that process? I think it's a great process. I think we're involving the public. We're involving the community. And he's not telling us we're going to have the final say. That's it. So I don't understand what the issue is.
Sergio, is there any project that you would like to see that
There are
hasn't
project-
been discussed
there
so
are-
far?
There are projects that I would like to see, and we hired a grant writer, so we're going to wait to see what they come up with.
No,
so we
I
can
said
hear-
what you
hold
would
on,
like
hold on,
to
don't
see.
interrupt
What
me,
you would
please.
like to see. Not what the grant writer says. What personally would you like to see? Luciana mentioned she had some concerns about, some parks and playgrounds. That was something that you mentioned. They said, well, that's kind of, they suggested that could be for other grant programs. It was a legitimate response.
And I sent over
May
my
I speak?
information yesterday.
May I speak?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So what I'm saying is he's going to compile stuff from the community, okay? And then he's going to show them to us. And then we could look at that and we could add, subtract, multiply, divide, whatever you want. I think it's a fair process. I think it's engaging the community. I think it's everything we want. So
Well,
I don't see a problem with the process. It's not that he's telling us anything.
All right,
He's
you make
the
your point.
professional
We'll
that
keep
we
going,
hired to
Susan.
compile
Keep
it.
going. Keep going. Let's go.
There are other things that I would like to see on an agenda for a work session next week. I would like to get an update on where the sensory garden is. I would like to also see some progress made to scheduling a meeting so we can discuss the steep slope ordinance. There are right now, steep slopes can be decided when people come in for a single building permit for a single-family house. It goes straight to the building department. It doesn't go to the planning department. We have 3 projects. They happen to come before the town board for other reasons, but they all involve steep slopes. We have a rezoning application that involves steep slopes, and I think it's time that we decided and had a discussion, not on the final legislation, but I'd like to see a discussion among the 5 of us as to whether we should have an ordinance, okay? And then we can deal with the nitty-gritty of the ordinance, and I've given you links to several ordinances.
I thought there was one that we
have
spoke
one.
with John Tegeter, and they were covered. But you know what? We could hash it out again.
Look at it.
These are
But,
just,
but the fact of the matter is, we did have a discussion on it. John Tegeter commented on it. Yeah, he did. It was. I don't remember when it was. It wasn't that long ago. Anyway, all right, continue, please. I'm sorry.
no, that's all. Was the discussion, the planning board is doing an adequate job of dealing with steep slopes, end of story, we don't need an ordinance? Was that the discussion?
No, I believe John Tegeter came up and commented on
Spoke
on
about
how-
some of the different projects,
and
but
spoke-
that's
spoke
fine.
about
We'll
steep
rehash it.
slopes. I mean, that's what he did.
We'll rehash it. Go on,
Yeah,
that's
all right.
fine.
I'm finished.
All right, thank you, Susan. All
I
right,
will submit, by the way, some of my suggestions on what I'd like to see
please.
considered.
Yes,
But I
absolutely.
would have liked to have shared it with the public.
Well, they can be shared. You might not want to share it if they get cut because they're not good for the state.
They might not
No, I know.
That's great. Send it to the grant writer. He's compiling these things. That's my point. That's what he's there for.
I will say that we had when we looked at this, this is our 3rd year looking. The 2 years we looked at it, there were specific projects picked out, and last year one of them was the library because the amount of use our library gets, the amount of programming, the amount of seniors, kids, young adults, everyone that go through there. And it's an inadequate space for the library, and that's why that was there. If the library were to get what they're looking for, that would pretty much be our half of everything. I did also look back, and there was a lot of work done referring to the old Holland Sportings Club. and revitalizing that park in Mohegan Lake and actually doing something with it instead of having something that we took over, tore down a building, and no one's using it. And Mohegan Lake is one of the most beautiful resources in our town. So Ken Belfour and Pat Kaminsky dug up some of the old plans, some of the cost projections. Pat did some updating, and Ken presented that stuff in a meeting with them. But those are the town side, and I'm sure there are other things. But the main thing to remember is that other half is supposed to come from the business community. They will be running their own grants. So if Dwayne owns a business and he wants something done there, Dwayne would put that in, not us. And half of that money is supposed to go for those business owners in the community. So we really should not be dictating. Otherwise, we should just take the whole grant, and we can't.
That you're misrepresenting what I was saying. And since you mentioned two of the projects that you're thinking about, the Holland Sporting, it's Rock Hill now, it's not Holland anymore, and the library, one of the things that I would like to see is doing something about the parking on Veterans Road from Commerce Street down to Maple Hill, where we all park along the street. The senior event was a perfect example where we all park there and have to walk. There are no sidewalks there, and I know the parking is not adequate. I would like to and talk about if the goal of the DRI New York Forward grant application is economic revitalization. I think doing something and expanding the streetscape so it's not just Downing Drive, but it's also Veterans Road. And the seniors who walk, who come in there and walk from Acme and go to the doctor's office or go to the post office.
Susan,
okay?
you can also ask those local businesses that are there to participate in that grant, a portion of the grant.
That's not on their property, okay? I'm talking about parallel there.
I know, but
I
remember
also
what
think
Greg
that
said,
there
we wanna
are
make it so it
improvements.
overlaps and it's part of the bigger picture. So the town can use this for its constituents, and then on top of that, the businesses can use it. Remember what he said? You want to create a story.
It's the revitalization for the hamlet, which is the essence of what the grant
Susan,
is
you'll
all
be happy
about.
to know that when we're doing the streetscape RFPs, Veterans Road is part of it.
No, veterans from Commerce to Downing,
John,
not from
did
Commerce
we
to Maple
cut that
Hill.
part from the short? Okay, because originally we talked about the long. Okay.
And that is a critical area because of the lack of parking and the safety issue of parking along that street and then having to walk in the road, whether it's daytime events or even nighttime events at the theater.
Yep. All right. Thank you, Susan. That's we'll definitely get on that. All right. Let's go to personnel. Authorize Thomas Paisano to be transferred from the Refuse and Recycling Department to the Parks and Recreation Department as a laborer effective October 18th, 2025. Appoint Scott Roby to the position of Motor Equipment Operator in the Highway Department. Accept the resignation letter received from Shane Inea as Assistant Court Clerk in the Yorktown Town Court effective October 16th, 2025. And accept the resignation letter received from Matthew Mancuso as a laborer in the Yorktown Parks Department effective September 19th, 2025. Thank you, Shane and Matthew, for your service. Can I have a motion?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, John is not here today.
I have a phone.
Up.
Did we skip courtesy of the floor?
Nope, that's next.
Oh, I'm sorry, I missed it. Okay.
I did skip dinner, though.
All right, here we go. Paying the Paul Mall bill. Excuse my Bronx accent on that one.
It's okay.
Oh, boy. By John F. McMullen. Over 70 years ago, I began smoking. My mother was against it, but it was adult, and it was cool. I started with filters, but soon went mainline and chose king size, longer, milder, Pall Mall. For some reason, I remember that. For some reason, Pall Mall was pronounced Pell Mell, an advertising gimmick, but it caught on. I chose Pall Mall even though TV doctors in long white coats were advising me that Camels were good for my T-zone. Smoking was a respite and help with the pressures of a career. I was smoking 3.5 packs a day. Jesus. The 45 years ago, I quit. Quit because my wife, another heavy smoker, was getting pleurisy every year. She quit too, and never had pleurisy again. But we were both diagnosed 5 years ago with emphysema. That'll teach me. I should have listened to my mother. Oh well, John F. McMullen.
Thank you. Well,
Always listen to your mother.
I'm glad you put that end point in because Tom was going to have to strike this as a advertisement for cigarettes, which you cannot do on TV anymore.
Oh, hey.
That's true.
All right. So we'll open the floor for public comment. Please remember 3 minutes per speaker. Introduce yourself when you come up. You do not have to wait for courtesy of the floor. You can contact any one of us at any time and go through whatever you need to. Our names and numbers, email addresses are up on the town website.
Just 1 second. I want that. Susan, by the way, I'm working with Noreen Parrell on a senior savings partner. We're trying to get a whole bunch of businesses to have like a senior savings day. So maybe that's something that we could include in.
What senior savings?
Like you go to a restaurant and maybe they give you $5 off or 10% off or something like that, or a restaurant, something like that. It's a program that we did with the chamber a long time ago.
Like Prime Day.
You know, so maybe we could include that in what you said to get the word out.
That's great.
Came up with a whole bunch of stuff. That's all. I just wanted to. I didn't want to forget. Sorry, Howard.
All right.
No problem.
Hi, Howard.
Hello. Good evening, Supervisor Ed Lackman and Town Board. I am Howard Gould, a proud resident, a Yorktown resident. I am here tonight to talk about a vital community resource, one that is much more than a building filled with books. The John C. Hart Memorial Library. The recent renovations to the community room and the upgrades to the library digital resources are a testament to the community to growth. The new flooring, seating, lighting, and expanded Wi-Fi aren't just the cosmetic changes. They're an investment in a modern, accessible space for everyone. I'd like to thank Supervisor Ed Lackerman and the town board for their vision and for securing the grants that made the wonderful improvements possible. The library impact is felt by every generation in Yorktown. For adults and seniors, it offers invaluable resources like free Medicare counseling and computer and museum passes, along with a wide variety of engaging activities, from the monthly book club and trivia nights to the concerts and workshops, from everything from mastering a new language to creative writing. For our youngest residents, there are captivating story times, the popular reading programs, and the dedicated children's area. The library also provides a place for school-age kids and to collaborate on projects, building crucial social skills and things like civility and teamwork that's essential for future jobs. These skills are vital for success in a career path, creating a positive work environment and ensuring good customer-facing service skills. These programs and the incredible staff who run them transform our library into a true community hub, in a place where children discover the joy of reading, where adults continue their education, and seniors stay connected. I'd like to extend a special thank you to the library director and the entire staff for their incredible hard work, and special thanks also goes to our reference librarians who are always ready to help with research, computer questions, and so much more. The library's shared activities and services create a sense of community and connecting among the residents. The John C. Hart Library is a cornerstone of our community, fostering a lifelong love of learning. Your community, as our library shows, a shared belief in the power of learning in the community. It's something that will benefit us for all generations to come. Thank you, and have a nice evening.
Thank you, too.
Thank you, Howard.
Good evening, everyone. Elon Gilbert, former town supervisor, former town judge. If anyone noticed me grimacing before, it had nothing to do with the events or discussions. I have some lower back pain tonight. I wasn't sure if I would speak tonight, but watching the earlier events on the agenda, I was taken and felt compelled. There are many reasons why I love this town, and we have much to be proud of. At a time that some of this country has a negative view of our great mosaic, I'm happy to say that our town takes time to recognize all segments of the town's population, different nationalities, different cultures, dare I say diversity. But you did that tonight in your proclamation. Good for you. We also deal with some very important social issues, and I'm happy that they are addressed. We've done this on a constant basis through many administrations, and we stand against hate at a time when we are shaken by current events. I'd also like to echo Chief Noble's sentiment that our police also reflect this. It reflects the diversity, and I believe that helps keep them an effective police force. Having lived in this town since 1991, I personally know the families of most of the officers tonight who were promoted. I see them, and I've seen them grow in this community, and how they are intertwined with this community. We are a growing town, but I love the small feel of this town, and I hope we never lose it. Thank you.
All in the heart.
Good evening, Sarah Wilson. One of the agenda items tonight is a resolution from the Finance Department to authorize the additional funding for the Section 8 program. And basically that's to cover a shortfall that's arisen as a result of the cost of benefits. And so tonight I'm speaking wearing my hat as chair of the Community Housing Board. I've become aware of the really great work that Sandrine Nisang has done since she was appointed to the role of Section 8 administrator here in Yorktown. Last week at our monthly meeting, the Yorktown Community Housing Board unanimously passed a motion to thank the town board tonight for hopefully agreeing to provide this funding to cover the shortfall and to ensure continuation of the program and the program administration by Sandrine locally here in Yorktown. The service that she provides to our residents in need who wish to remain in Yorktown, and to those who are unable to locate suitable housing here in Yorktown to help them find it perhaps in a neighboring town, or need assistance in just navigating some of the bureaucracy and red tape that, you know, government programs often inevitably have. She provides a great benefit to the town.
Whoever's sneezing back there. Sorry. Someone sneezed. Sorry.
Anyway, as noted in the resolution, you know, this funding approach is consistent with what some of our nearby towns do as well. And as I think I've mentioned on prior occasions, my mother's eligibility for Section 8 housing after our parents divorced and she was disabled by a stroke enabled my sister and I to remain in our hometown, which was Larchmont. And we were able to continue to attend our neighborhood schools and keep our friends and, you know, stay in our community as a result of being able to qualify under this program. So it's an important program. It helps a lot of people. I think, Councilman Esposito, you've even said I think maybe we're a homeowner or a landlord under the program, so you have experience with it. So anyway, just want to ensure that it remains here within the town. So thank you, and hopefully it'll be in the funding, supervisors' funding in the budget in 2026. And in my last 15 seconds, I'll mention the Yorktown Repair Cafe coming
waiting.
up on October 25th, Saturday, October 25th. It will be our 27th here in Yorktown. Thanks. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Sarah.
Great.
Good evening, Mark Lieberman.
Hi, Mark.
So this is personal, but I bring it up primarily because Con Edison has come up so many times at board meetings. So 4 months ago, I moved 3 minutes from where I used to live. Had Con Edison's, have Con Edison. I'm now in Jefferson Village on Independence Court. And every single week, I've had a brownout. And twice, I've had multi-hour, at least 3-hour blackouts. And I would like the name of the liaison from Con Edison to the town, so I can personally sit down with this person. I don't want to go through their customer service bureaucracy. I'm going to cut to the chase before I write to the president of Con Edison. But this is infuriating. I don't know if it's happening to other residents in other parts.
Every
but-
night, yeah.
Let's let Mark finish, guys.
So there's something going on.
Yeah.
And I'd like to know what it is and when it's going to get fixed, because it's intolerable.
Thank
and
you.
I can't get a generator because of condo rules.
Yes.
Thank you,
It
Mark.
just started when you moved there.
Here, it's Howie.
Evening, Rich Sautner, owner of,
Rich.
how you doing? 3711 Crown Pond Road, formerly Quality Lawnmower. Just a question of how the referral process is going along, because we were supposed to be on an agenda in the previous meeting, it got bumped, and then, so I don't know if that's a thing that we can answer at this point. But I just wanted to express a little concern about why we're even being blocked in this situation. I appreciate that the town is trying to change the code to get the redemption center allowed. But in all honesty, the bottling plant that's literally 1,000 feet down the road does this exact business on a daily basis, storing bottles outside, walls of bottles. This wouldn't happen at this location. And the supermarkets do the machines outside, smelly, sometimes working, sometimes not working. Wouldn't happen at this location. So I just wanted to express my concern of the process involved. I just want to have the referrals all come back and what we can expect on time frame. And that's basically it. I wanted to.
We'll answer at the end, Rich. We
okay.
answer at the end.
All right. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. Brian D., Shrub Oak. Came here tonight to ask for your help. The library over at John C. Hart received a grant, another one of the reimbursable grants, so you have to lay the money out and get paid back, for EV chargers to be installed. Now, all for it. Great idea. Put them places where we can have people charge up. Terrific, okay? The problem I have with them is that they're going to put them in 6 spaces right at the edge of East Main Street. So when you drive down that only section of Yorktown left that kind of looks old school rural, because we don't have that anywhere else in town, you're going to see these very modern chargers, right, blaring in your face. In order to move them to the end of the parking lot where they're not so visible from the street, closer to the 9/11 memorial, it would cost about $30,000. Now, about $17,000 of that comes back to you. So the town would have to lay out a $13,000 and change cost to do this move. I'm asking politely, and hopefully you can do something quickly, and this way we can keep our integrity. We can keep that small town look without looking modern. I know we have to modernize. I know we got to move ahead with stuff. I know we got to do stuff like that. I get it. But can we not put it in our face? Can we put it off to the side a little bit and then they can take advantage? Plus, When I talked to Yvonne, she said she's going to take these 6 parking spaces and they're going to be reserved for electric charging vehicles only. So that changes the amount of spaces she's going to have to use in the parking lot for the people who use the library. And I don't want to take away the 6 close spaces to the door. I'd rather have them further away. So if it's raining or cold in the winter and people come with their kids, they don't have to walk the whole parking lot. They just have to walk a shorter distance. And if you're going to get your car charged, you're going to be there for a little while. So, you know, it's not so bad if you walk in and warm up and walk back out. Sometimes when we were there for that Friday meeting a couple weeks ago, I couldn't believe how busy the place was. It was unbelievable. There was people coming in and out. They're there 20 minutes and they're gone. But that lot was full. Every spot was taken. There was people sitting in their car waiting for somebody to leave. So 6 spaces would change a lot over there if you kill 6 spaces that you can only have electric cars. Because I only saw 2 electric cars the whole time I was there. And I was there probably 2.5 hours talking to the county. So this grant comes from the county, fully reimbursable. In the end, to keep the integrity and to keep all the aesthetics of Yorktown and Shrub Oak area specifically looking good. It's only a $13,000 investment. I think it's something that you guys should really consider letting go. All right?
Thanks, Brian.
And Brian, prepare to come up when we have it for discussion with your fire commissioner hat.
Different hat.
My name is Maurice Deluti, and contrary to rumored rumor, my ideas are wholly my own, as anyone who knows me knows. On the subject of water contamination and flooding in neighborhoods in Yorktown, I believe that concerned citizens, residents, businesses, health, environmental advocates, and community organizations really do need some accounting from town and maybe state leaders. The issue was raised again the past year about the impacts of flooding, and the reports of contamination have been known in some measure for really many, many more. In fact, it may be decades. If you look at the 2010 article, which Susan, who was, I think, supervisor at the time, was talking about 15 years before there being issues. I'm talking about E. coli measuring almost twice acceptable levels for even recreational use, has been measured as recently as last year in area waterways. Contamination that threatens the health and well-being of residents via the groundwater, possibly the ground, pond, and lake water. So that's pollution where people live, work, and play. Neighborhoods at risk include Jefferson Valley, Shrub Oak, Mohegan Lake, and possibly others as the same water flows through to Putnam Valley. We need answers because local authorities haven't been able to really address, I don't believe yet, the flooding issue for years as water moves from Lake Osceola into the Shrub Oak stream. Jefferson Village releases stormwater into an adjacent detention pond, which they may or may not own. A pond that, when overwhelmed, backflows into village residences, the same stream, and beyond to properties owned by JV Mall, Par 3 Golf Course, residents along various streets, commercial sites on Route 132 and Main Street in Shrub Oak. That stream heads into Mohegan Lake, recently closed to swimmers due to contamination. So, who's going to be responsible? Is it like homeowners? Is it businesses? Is it the town? Who's going to fix things? So now, that's really what I want to bring up. This is like a public education campaign. There have been a lot of sort of left behind projects where some developments like Jefferson Village and Yorktown Industrial Park, I believe, never completed their stormwater management plans that they actually submitted to receive site plan approvals. This may or may not be true. I'm just saying, is this true? I'm presenting it. I believe that, you know, basically that people sort of deserve an answer about, can we get together, can we put together a plan that will help people from those neighborhoods particularly that do experience flooding? Although the lady that was next to me who had to leave, unfortunately, and I don't know her name, she was taught in her neighborhood, the waters have sort of run dry. So totally different issue. Some places we have flooding, some places there's a dry spell. I'm not sure what's going on, but I think some of the neighborhoods really need help and a commitment that maybe working together we can get something done. That's all I have to say.
Thank you.
I'm actually here with my scouting commissioner hat on. I just wanted to congratulate again.
Please introduce yourself,
I'm
Jan.
sorry, Jan
That's okay.
Merchandani, Yorktown Heights. I just wanted, as a member of the Greater Hudson Valley Council Boy Scouts, now it's Scouting America Board, I wanted to also offer my own congratulations to Troop 173. And I also wanted to just really acknowledge, for people who haven't sort of been steeped in scouting or maybe didn't have scouting in their own families, that is a real big accomplishment, both, hitting 60 years where, for those of us, many in this room have volunteered different organizations. Somebody leaves, it changes the dynamic. Sometimes things falter. So to have a troop, really stick around and prove the test of time for 60 years is really quite an accomplishment. And I will say also, Yorktown has an embarrassment of riches when it comes to scouting in our community. We have, I think, 7 currently Scouts BSA troops, plus all the Girl Scout troops. So we really have a very rich scouting community. I also wanted to add very briefly, because I know we had an Eagle Scout. This really was his court of honor. Typically, an Eagle Scout will have a big to-do to recognize the accomplishment of in earning the rank of Eagle. And I want to put that in context for everybody who might not be familiar with that process. It is not just building a bench. It is not just refurbishing a sign. Scouts are required to complete a proposal. That proposal then has to go to council. It has to get approved. They then go back to their unit. They have to do fundraising for their project. They're not the ones responsible for hammering nails and doing all of those things. They actually are the project managers for that project. So they are leading their fellow scouts. They are leading other volunteers. Oftentimes they are young adults leading adults and telling them what they need to be doing in terms of this project. When the project's done, they're still not done. They have to do a report and hand that in to council, get that approved, and then they have their board of review. And they have to it's almost like, sort of defending your dissertation in a way. It is not a small endeavor. So when we make a big deal about these scouts earning this rank, it is really earned. And I just wanted to make sure that everybody recognized that for that young man.
That's great.
It's all right. It was such an uplifting evening. Good evening, members of the board. Joanne Sillick, Yorktown Heights. It is customary for this board to make comments after courtesy of the floor. I know the board can't address all our comments, but I would appreciate you commenting on the following that were not addressed the last time. If Navajo is built, the natural barrier of trees will be removed, causing stormwater flooding. Or how can our infrastructure support the extra traffic on a one-lane road? I've asked this question several times, and I never got an answer or comment, except eminent domain that the supervisor said he would not want to do. I hope you will answer that question this evening. Also, Supervisor, you mentioned we will be, I quote, "We will be impotent if laws sitting in committee in Albany are passed. It changes our whole landscape." I assume you were referring to home rule. I did some research. I quote, "No legislation on the topic of home rule is currently in committee in Albany during the 2025 legislative session." Now, regarding the Faith-Based Affordable Housing Act, I quote from the New York State Assembly. "Residential development on religious land dated January 19, 2025. Any parcel of land or group of one or more contiguous parcels of land is owned solely, directly, or indirectly by a religious corporation as of the effective date of this section." Another important issue discussed in the State Assembly is the maximum density of units permitted. In towns or cities with fewer than 1 million inhabitants, such building shall not result in more than 100 residential units. Think about that. Not 242, more than double as proposed in Navajo. Regarding the overlay, under current zoning, the developer cannot build high-density housing or build near wetlands. But if 3 board members vote to change the law, suddenly this permits the developer to do so. In reality, the overlay permits the illegal to become legal. The overlay law benefits the developer, not Yorktown. We don't have to look far. Look across the street. Soundview is in the overlay. Does anyone really think that 4-story eyesore is a benefit to Yorktown? Thank you for listening.
Good evening. My name is Dwayne Simmons, and I live in Jefferson Village. A couple of things. First, thank you guys for fixing the road. Nice job. Just took a long time, but it's okay. It got fixed. The other thing is, so as far as the waterways are concerned, so we at Jefferson Village have done everything we can, tried to get help for the waterways because the flooding does affect us. You know, when I hear somebody come up and say, well, we didn't do our due diligence or anything that alludes to that, that's just not true. The other thing is you've built places around us that causes water to flow and flood us, and we get no help. I even met with the developers for Navajo, because they said, and to me, I thought the water was the most important thing. I mean, two things can be true at once. The water and the traffic are problems. But I met with the developers, and he promised that he could fix the problem if the project succeeded. So I guess he figures because I live in Jefferson Village and we're older people, we're stupid. So I had him, I said, well, make me a video to show me what you want to do. So he made a video, and all this, you know, turns out that I took it to an engineer. And the engineer told me, he said, he's blowing smoke. That's not going to work. That's not going to fix your problem. So he didn't realize that that's why I was going to do that. The point is, we're not stupid in Jefferson Village, so we do know that we have a water problem, a big water problem, and it's going to continue to affect us. It's going to continue to make our lives worse and worse. Right now, when you think about it, we've had like 100-year floods on and on and on, and I don't see that ending at any time. I don't know why we're going to a developer to do this when the town should have some responsibilities. If the developer wanted to meet with me to figure out, which was a lie, to figure out what could be done, then I think the town should have a dog in that fight at least, to sit down with us and say, guys, this is what we can do for you. This is how we can save Jefferson Village. Because, I mean, we matter also, you know, and I remember, again, not too long ago, Ed, you came up to me and you said, the Navajo project is dead, you could take down the signs. But the Navajo project can come back at any time. Things that are dead, unless there's in horror movies, they don't come back alive. So that project is not really dead. And what we need to do is for you guys to sit down with us and tell us how you can help us out. My name is Dwayne. Thank you.
Thanks, Wayne.
Ann O'Neill, Yorktown Heights. Dwayne ran out of time, so I'm going to continue for him. I appreciate the lady so concerned about Jefferson Village water. We appreciate that input, but not to worry. You don't have to worry anymore because Jefferson Village tested their own water.
Yeah, you could do it.
And everything is clean. We have no pollution. Our drinking water is clean. This water was tested by a New York State certified lab. We tested the ponds in Jefferson Village, several ponds. We tested the water in Osceola. And I tested my tap water in my own condo. The water is clean. So whoever's thinking about saying that Jefferson Village water is polluted, well, you can't swim in it, of course, but where can you swim in Yorktown Heights? But our water, I cannot stress this enough, is clean. I want the people in Jefferson Village that is watching tonight to know this because we have been receiving not too good publication and not too publicity, I should say, from this lady here and from other people saying that our water is dirty. Again, it is not. We have clean water and we have the proof. And if anybody wants to look at our lab test, we will gladly show you. Thank you very much.
Thanks,
Thank you, Ann.
Good evening, Town Board. Brian Selleck, Yorktown Heights, Jefferson Village. There's a lot of old people that live in Jefferson Village, and it's attributed to the water. It gives longevity, so there's nothing wrong with the water. Susan Siegel can tell you that. I'm here to talk about
Moving to Jefferson Village.
transfer station, or otherwise known as the recycling plant, whichever you want to call it. I'm sorry, guys. Midstream, you decided to change the zoning. This didn't make the developer happy. His lawyer warned you that if you did, he would sue you and that he had cases where he has won before. I'd like to know where the litigation stands with this. We haven't heard anything. If you lose, we're talking about $12 million. Is this going to come out of the general fund? I want to know where the money's coming from. Add this to the fire department. Add this to the increase in taxes. Add this to the increase in water. Add this to the electric and gas. They'll be going up. Nobody will be able to live here. Let's go a little further, back to Navajo, Hidden Valley, other names you want to call it, and the cars coming out. I'm sure that the board knows, and other people may or may not know, that Summers wants to put in 73 townhouses, right? Multifamily, up to 3 units per townhouse. That's another 200 and something, 300 cars that'll come out on Mayapack Avenue by the Nut House. I mean the tool crib, sorry. But the tool crib. Think of all these cars. Nobody will go to Stop and Shop. You won't be able to get there. You won't be able to get out. Please, think of Yorktown and what you're doing. Talk to Summers. Work something out, because it's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Thank you.
Thanks, Brian.
Have a good evening.
I need some of his water.
Hello, Anthony Pichette for Yorktown. Just want to talk about a couple things. I'm glad that we were talking about Veterans Road again, because it is truly a very dangerous road. The other day, again, someone in our school, the kid ran out in front, and it was very close. And it happens. I mean, it happens all the time. There are old people there. Talking about old people, there are young people there. There are people with pets there. We know that, like, whatever group you're aligned with, it's a very dangerous area for them. There's people coming up on the track or walking through. They can't get through. There are people on their bikes, whatever. So there has to be something done about that. It is taking way too long. And someone is going to die, okay? Someone is going to die on that road. And we're going to come back here and oops, it's not happening, okay? That's not towards anyone in here in particular. This is just a general rage, okay? But it's just insane with little kids, 2, 3-year-olds running, and it's the parents' fault because they weren't holding them. If you have a toddler, if you have a 3 or 4-year-old, you know it is nearly impossible to be eyes on all the time when we could literally put speed bumps. We could literally narrow the road. There's so many options that we could do. And once again, I heard you guys were talking about that. You're working on that. So, maybe this was just out. I'm letting it out now because it was going to come out anyway about this. So thank you for working on that. Please, please, please aware. And also, too, if you do park along that road, everyone's watching this, if you come out a little bit and don't go right against the side of the area, it does give space for people to walk. Like, it makes its own little sidewalk, very primitive sidewalk. And that's good for Halloween, too, because you go a little bit out of the side of the road, and people can walk there instead of trying to get, dodge people driving at night, which is fun. Second thing, hearing you guys talk about the DRI project, it's exciting because I was there last night too to hear about it. But I think trying to, like, as far as I knew, this is like a lengthy process. It does take community input. We have like a master plan, I think, that we've talked about for years. Because I was there last night too, and I mean, the initials literally stands for Downtown Revitalization Initiative. And I know the supervisor yesterday was talking, and I might have misunderstood what you said, so obviously clarify, that we wouldn't, that the downtown in Yorktown Heights was already kind of taken care of. Now, I'm paraphrasing, but it seemed like you wanted to focus this on other parts of the town. The whole idea of the DRI is to create a downtown walkable community. Trust me, I know that, because that's all I talk about. You can look up, there's Strong Towns is a great reference to look up. Jeff Speck is another person to look up. Actually, one of the grant writers last night, I was talking about Jeff's, oh, son of a gun. Anyway, look those two up. They'll give you more information.
Thanks, Ann.
Anyone else for courtesy of the floor? Motion to close courtesy of the floor?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. So I should have mentioned earlier, senior advisory survey. I'll talk to the senior advisory about getting that up online. So we'll try to get it right to the website, so it's a click and go. Howard, thank you for the comments about the library. Couldn't agree more. Repair Cafe, Sarah, looking forward to it, but I don't have much that's broken right now, surprisingly. Even my clocks are working when I wind them. Section 8 continuation, we that's why it's on there. We understand what that service is to the town and the people that need it. I think
And Sandrine's value.
yes, that's okay. And I think I've shared with you in the past that my mom relied on set housing rates, and so it's an important aspect, especially for the community that's using it. Lonnie, couldn't agree more with the PD, but I do get a little upset knowing that these kids graduated with my daughter and they're becoming lieutenants, and actually some who graduated after my daughter, because Lieutenant D is after my daughter. But yeah, it's great to see them grow up and be there and be part of Yorktown. Mark, for Con Ed, I can't give you my contact because it's a governmental contact, but if you'd like to come by the office, I will make the call with you there. Please call, make an appointment, and I'm more than happy to try to help with that and get that done. Because I could tell you it's probably a pain resetting all the clocks, let alone every time there's a little brownout. Diana, do you want to talk about the referral process real quick?
Once the town board votes to refer out any project, it gets referred out typically for a month, because some of our boards only meet once a month. Once we receive comments back and the referral process is ended, then it goes back to the town board for their review, and then they'll decide whether they want to move forward with a public hearing or not.
Okay,
And on that particular application, it's still out in referral, but I believe that'll be back for your work session next week.
right, thank you. Brian will talk a little bit more about EV charging coming up. For the lake and the detention pond and things, I'm going to sort of group that together. I'm glad that the village did their homework. I had heard about these reports, although no one has presented one to me, which I find strange. That didn't, it just came as a text message from someone, hey, we got this weird report, and they didn't want to share the report. That being said, I've been in contact with our state representative, Matt Slater. We've been talking to Board of Health, DEC, DEP. There's like nothing on the lakes. And in fact, Osceola, they don't recognize because it's a private lake. So the state doesn't really recognize it.
But you tested it.
They tested it, right. So, but they don't even have any records on it going back. So, but we have been trying to chase down some of those answers. I'm glad you guys did that test work, because we were talking about that as well.
If we could get a copy, that would be great.
That would be, and if I could get a copy of the other stuff that you got, I would appreciate that. Wow, you're shaking me down. So there's a lot going on there. And I do want to, I'll talk a little bit about the detention pond and the waterway there. So, unfortunately, we've been looking into it. It's a similar situation to the village road. And we come on dead ends because we don't own the property. And from what I'm finding, the property, according to the, although I haven't been able to get a copy in my hands, according to the initial offering to the Attorney General's office, that property, both the two lots that the road is on and the lake, were supposed to be accepted by Jefferson Village, which gives them the responsibility. Unfortunately, with all of the cycling around on this, it might be opening a door that we don't really want to open, but I have to, we're going to be contacting the Attorney General to see if we get a copy of that initial offering and see what it says and where we're at. So, but we'll try to find a solution, but we may not like the solution. I just want to make sure you're aware of that. But we will try to find out, and I know we have something that could work, hopefully for the road. I don't know where that's at, that you guys were looking at as a board for the JOC. And, but I think the most important thing when it comes down to it is some of these situations need to be solved. It's unfortunate, but even when you talk about the roadway, Anthony, with Veterans Road, we're trying to solve issues that are 50, 60, 70 years old. And if some of the things were done with foresight, where it might have cost, $20,000 to do a sidewalk, that same sidewalk is now $500,000 if you're doing it in concrete and curbing and doing all the work. So there's just not enough money to go around. Even, we talk about the DRI grant, getting that $10 million is a drop in the bucket. We could come up with probably $50 million worth of projects easily without getting into the sewers and the other things that we're trying to get done for the town. Jan, one thing that you forgot, which is so impressive, and thank you for your work with Scouting, because it means so much to our youth. Everything Jan spoke about, they do before their 18th birthday.
Yeah.
They have a time limit. So you're not talking about someone who's 20, 21, learning how to manage a project like you'd be doing in college. You're talking about a high school student before they graduate getting this done. And I think there's a record of quite a few that have gotten their Eagles at 16 and 17, like before their 17th birthday, which is just truly amazing. Joanne, Navajo trees, if that project were brought back and, we can't vote on it, in my eyes, it's dead because the contractor pulled it. So I don't, I have to look at it as dead. That's the way we are. I think that they're mainly fields there. I didn't know if they were cutting down trees or not, but a lot of the trees are unfortunately gone there. It's fields, it's soccer fields, it's baseball fields, it's open space. As for the roads, yeah, and I said I don't see an easy solution there, and I would not be in favor of eminent domain. But that's once again the foresight of when Route 6 was built and put out. It's unfortunate they didn't think about the fact that this could become a thoroughfare, especially the mall. I think went in the 70s. Brian, was that correct? You could not. 83. Okay. So, but they started the planning probably in the 70s, and they, I don't know why they didn't look at those issues back then. Maybe because it was right off the Taconic and they figured it was fine. And then for the faith-based affordable housing, that would be an attack on home rule. And I don't know why, because we have our local representatives pushing it. So I don't consider it dead if they keep putting something like that back in there. And yes, you're right. They have to own the property beforehand. But anyone reading that and seeing it come out of committee before going to a vote is going to figure out a way to have some type of ownership of that. I'm sorry, that's just, I don't trust that the process will be clean. I think it's not 100. I think John Tegeter did the math for me. It would be 2,000 units available on there. I think that's per, well, I think it's a per acre formulation, but I'll go through those numbers again, and if you'd like, I could get back to you on that. Then
I'm
the
against it anyway, so.
then well, we wouldn't have a choice if
Yeah,
it
I
gets
know,
passed
but-
through the state. And then the overlay law and Underhill Farms. I think that we should wait until Underhill Farms is done, because a lot of the things I hear we heard before. Actually, I think Lonnie was just coming into office when we were talking about how big and ugly and how the Claremont building doesn't fit. And it's actually a very, very beautiful building, and it works for our medical services. And then we heard the same thing with, before that, when they were building the ones across the street where Yorktown Rehab is, and our Place restaurant, open Monday through Sunday. Give them a little plug.
No Tuesday.
But no Tuesday, sorry, closed on Tuesday. But you heard the same thing there. And when things are getting built, they do not look good, without a doubt. We wait for the finished project. What I can say is that the overlay district, as projected by the Business Council of Westchester, the effects on our business community were tremendous. A lot of the revitalization that has happened, not just the revitalization of a piece of property that had 3 or 4 condemned buildings that needed to be torn down on it, but the fact that the whole Yorktown Green started popping after that, because having a shopping density population, that's actually why the Jefferson Valley Mall went in where they were. Unfortunately, things changed in the landscape of malls, but Jefferson Village was a big driving factor of that. You had people that lived there that could shop there. So it's a very complicated, very interlocked process, but I personally think that the overlay district, as it stands right now, has helped us. I think that the Osceola one, if some things start happening within the boundaries of what it is, that could actually help as well. And a lot of those beautification projects can happen. It's all about revitalization of the area, and there's some of those areas that are in desperate need of it, but way beyond the budgetary sources that we have at this time. We need those partnerships with the developers who come in and do things. People think it's a free ride, but when you start talking about the recreational components, when you start looking at the extras they have to do, such as traffic lights, road widening, there are benefits to our town, and it's a very global picture that we have to look at. Dwayne left. He didn't want to hear me. Well, I'll say it anyway. So the waterway we spoke about, but also the street up there. I heard from a little birdie in my highway department that there was actually an idea by Mr. Silic sitting here that we needed a street light at the top of the road. And I'm happy to say that when Dave brought it to me, we went to finance, and we will get that done. And we're hoping to get that done very shortly, because it's quite dangerous in the dark up there. Even though I had my eyes fixed, I go to make that turn, and I have to I'm in the wrong lane. And trust me, when you're driving with my wife, you hear about it for the next 25 minutes. She's very critical of my driving. So hopefully we could get that done very shortly, as the nights are getting longer.
Feel better, Lonnie.
Yeah, take care of that back. And like I said, great about that. Brian, the transfer station and the lawsuit. You guys got to make up your mind, because we had public hearings, and we heard that no one wanted that as a zone. We took it out. Yes, they are going to sue us. There is a suit. I don't know if we could talk much about it. Adam might be able to say something about the transfer station.
I mean, this lawsuit was filed. We filed a motion to dismiss. It's pending. We're very confident in our motion. It's with the judge. Probably a couple months before we hear anything.
So the main thing is, we do not think it's an appropriate use, and we took it out as a use. We did not sterilize the property. and that is one of the main focuses on a suit against that. Now I think they want to look at some discrimination type of lawsuit, but yeah.
I mean, they refiled it. They filed their claims.
Yeah.
They border on the frivolous.
So,
professional opinion. We filed a very good motion to dismiss. I'm confident the claims are going to be dismissed. We'll see what the judge does.
Thank
I'm
you.
very confident in it.
So I hope that answers your question. But even knowing, and he didn't threaten. He promised, as he said, to sue us.
He also said, "You got a very good attorney."
Yes,
I agree.
Maybe the only thing you agreed with there, Adam. But look, we have to do our job, and yes, some of these things will incur a lawsuit because anyone could sue anyone. But we work for the town of Yorktown and for the people in Yorktown, and that was a decision that needed to be made. We make a lot of hard decisions every day, trust me. And then for the Somers, I guess you're talking about Whispering Pines, and they're looking for a project there. I've already, spoken to the supervisor there, saying, "Hey, I'm really not in favor of this, but I would recommend if you sign up for their emails and they're doing public hearings, that you go there and talk to them about it, because we really don't have any say to tell them you can't do it. We could go there. I could have the conversation, and I think it's actually in their planning department. I'm not even sure if it is at their town board level yet.
You guys could have two-faced signs: no to Navajo, no to Whispering Pines. I got you. Don't worry.
And then Anthony, one of the things.
Right.
Excuse me,
Ann
guys,
has it all.
please. Anthony, one of the things that would be something I would look at this side of town happens to be from the commerce of the stage, the restaurants. My comment yesterday was I'd prefer it to be on that side of town because we have done quite a bit on this side. We're by no means done on this side of town, and there are some other things out there. Like I'd love to see a new marquee for the stage, and we might be able to do that through Crest grants. I'd love to see sidewalks over there. We're looking at partial, but there are, as Susan pointed out, some things. But we will. John has been diligently working on that and about 47 other things. I haven't seen so many plates spinning in a long time in our town, and unfortunately, we cannot have an office of 37 people just to do planning and make sure things are out there. We will be looking at making an offer for an assistant engineer, which will help with plans, and really, a PE who could help with that stuff. So we are trying to move forward, but as we know, the bureaucratic red tape, we suffer it also. Even though we're the bureaucracy, we still have to go through all of the processes, and we are working on that stuff. Okay. If anyone has anything to add.
Yeah, just a couple of comments. So I'm glad that the water is clean because a few years ago, Matt Assemblyman Slater and I went into that stream and on the opposite side of Route 6, and we unclogged it. We also got the DOT to finally come, and ever since they were there, they came with heavy machinery, and they really did a good job. So it hasn't been flooding on that side. On your side, where we're talking about where the pond is, and
We took it from several ponds.
yeah, no, I'm glad you did because I was in that water. So like now I got a little peace of mind. Yeah, I'm not gonna, my legs aren't gonna fall off. So, then I'd be really short.
Thank you. Thank you. You saved me from that.
No, I got it. Don't worry about it. I'm thinking about getting double hip surgery, so I could. No, never mind. So, what I think a problem is that you're having there, because we were on that side as well, is that trash gate that's going on the Hill Boulevard, and it goes further down under the water, and things get stuck there. And Matt and I were on the trash gate, hanging off that thing. We were pulling logs and stuff like that. The problem is that trash gate needs to be there because there's a big sewer main right underneath the culvert, and it's huge. So one of the ideas we did have was, and when we unclogged that trash gate, all the water on that side where you guys are talking about in that pond and everything just went straight down. The problem is complicated though, because as Ed said, the stream travels between private property. One of a big bottleneck is the mall. So if you're going down that side mall road where you guys are, the stream travels underneath there, and that is mall property. And we've called them several times. They're very cooperative. They go in there and they clean that out. You'll often see that it's flooded there, and you'll see the water kind of rising on the side of the road. You know, not to the road, but it's down, and you'll see like a swampy area there. Then it travels into that complex on Lee Boulevard, and it goes underneath Lee Boulevard, and it goes all the way. I mean, I've done so much, investigative work and tried to clean it up. And Paganelli, Superintendent Paganelli has been a huge help. But the problem is like multifaceted, and it's on people's private property. Then you got to get them to try to clean it up because you can't go on private property. It gets really, really, it skews out of control. So that's where it is. But I know that trash gate is not a problem because it has to be there. Otherwise, you can have a sewer main. We'll have a bigger problem. But we were always thinking about maybe shortening the trash gate so it doesn't go so far deep into the water to allow stuff to flow a little more. So maybe we'll revisit that idea. That was something that we came up with. I think Dave Paganelli came up with that. But anyway, I'll revisit it with him, and that might alleviate some of the flooding for you guys, because I think that's a bottleneck for that. Jan, as far as the youth, I say it all the time. The youth in our community are amazing. From Tackles for a Cure to the Boy Scouts and the Girl Scouts. It's just amazing kids being brought up in this community, and I don't think that'll ever change as long as we keep pushing forward the way we are. So, thank you.
I'm good.
I'll just have a couple things. I'll make it quick. Howard, you did a great job of acknowledging the library. The library, it's a gem of Yorktown. It really is. And Jean was just here, and Kathy was here. They are on the library board. They work with Yvonne. They do a great job. At any given time, there's something for anybody from 2 years old to 80 years old. There's something in there for everybody all day. So you did a good job acknowledging because, they need to get acknowledged. And, like you said, Jan, the Boy Scouts, to put out 117 Eagle Scouts out of one troop, it's incredible. It's these guys actually it takes a couple years. My daughter was a Girl Scout, and she was going for her Gold Award, which is equivalent of an Eagle Scout, but it takes you got to have the foresight, and it takes you about 12 to 18 months of setting up. And she got into her senior year, and she didn't have time to achieve it, but she got all the way up there. So these are leadership. They're leadership qualities that these kids don't know that they're learning at a very young age. Those are future leaders. And just to talk a little bit about the Navajo, on September 9th, we had the resolution to not approve the overlay. We had the resolution to deny it. The developer, we sat there, we did our job. We listened to 10, 11 months from the public, from the developer, from the boards. That's our job. So we listened to him. We put together a resolution. The developer saw the resolution, didn't like it, and he pulled his application. We can't vote on something that, if you pull an application, you can't vote on it. But now the developer knows which way we're leaning, And for 10, 11 months, we shut up and we listen. As my dad always said, God gave you 2 ears and 1 mouth. Do twice as much listening. So, but that's about it. Oh, and you know what? And about the home rule, Joanne, the Association for Towns, it's an organization that encompasses all the towns from here to Onondaga, everybody in New York. They're worried about the governor taking over home rule. So every year, at the beginning of the year, I go down to Association Towns down in Manhattan, and everybody, representatives from everybody comes down, and you sit in lectures and seminars and stuff. It's awesome.
Yeah.
You learn a lot. And they're worried about losing home rule. That, you know, it's the number one topic for the last 2 years. And you can shake your head,
No,
Susan.
for 50, for 50 years,
Okay,
I want to say
whatever.
home rule.
I've been down there for
I go
the
back to-
last 2 years, and I'm talking from my experience, okay?
My experience is the Berenson case for affordable housing
That's
goes
great.
back to 1970s, I think.
They're also
1970s, 80s.
talking about properties that are near public transportation that would be subject to these new guidelines. So, and what I think what Ed was trying to articulate was that they've put it. They tried to pass some kind of budget thing to make that possible. That failed. They came back again. I think they've tried to push it through
in 2023
2 or 3 times already. I don't know the exact number, but they keep trying to push it. It keeps failing. Thank God. But you know, they're not stopping, right? So, anyway, Susan,
I have some things. Frankly, I think that courtesy of the floor might make our meetings longer, but I think they're the most valuable part of many of our meetings, other than when we have public hearings, because when you think about the array of subject matters that were talked about today, and the information on how the town deals with issues, I think is invaluable. So I have no problem with the lengthy meetings. Ed, this wasn't courtesy of the floor, but you did start out your comments with the suggestion that the senior survey go on the website. Thank you for suggesting that, because that triggered another thought of mine. Instead of the survey, and this is what it looked like, it was just kind of lines, fill in what you'd like. If they're going to put it online, they should use something like the free Survey Monkey, I think it's called, where you would have specifics. You would say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you would name the types of programs or facilities that you want, and people could check it off, and then it could easily be analyzed by the senior advisory committee.
like a form.
Yeah, like a form. I think they're called radio buttons. You're the IT person, all right? So perhaps somebody could work with the senior advisory committee to do that. It would be a much more efficient way of getting the results.
Already sent an email to Robin Steinberg, who handles helps that.
She would be
so
the
John
one
expected to be a little tied up tomorrow.
to do that and work with the senior advisory and do that. Howard, again, as said, I want to thank you for your comments about the library, and my thanks to Yvonne, our current director, and all the previous ones who have been very, very aggressive in getting state grants. My concern is that so much of the state grant money is pass-through money from the federal government, and in the federal, all this rigmarole of what we're going through now with the federal budget, there's a cut in federal funds for library services, which will then work its way to the state. If that's what happens, it will work its way to the state, which will mean Yorktown will have less money to apply for. So that's how that goes. Sarah, thank you for your comments about the Section 8 program, and for explaining the services that it provides to Yorktown residents. And it's my sincere hope that when the supervisor puts together his 2006 budget, which will be coming out at the end of this month, that he will be keeping this. It's roughly maybe a $35,000 expense, and I know the pressures that you're under. You know,
There are some choices that are easy, and look, our taxes go to services. We all know that.
Yeah,
services go up. That's why sometimes taxes go up, and just like everyone complaining about their electric bills, our electric bills, as Sergio points out quite often, go up. Our fuel bills go up, and it's part. The whole budget process is very hard, but that's why I'm here.
Okay. Mark, on the Con Ed, it's interesting that you brought it up, because I called Lorraine supervisor's assistant this morning because of this issue, because as everybody knows, I live in Jefferson Village, and I think 3 times in the past week, light just flickered. It blinks, okay? And then you have to reset the clocks, and it's at night. And she said to me, Susan, you're staying up too late, all right? But the point, and then I said, when I called Con Ed, because I typically don't complain about these things, you got I won't talk about the kind of response you got when you called the Con Ed person. And then I checked with the Chris, the manager who oversees all of Jefferson Village. I said, "Is it just me?" And that's when she said it was the other parts of the village. And I said, "I don't call people in other parts of the Con Ed territory, so I had no idea how widespread it is. Could you, from the supervisor's office, make a better contact to Con Ed? Just tell us what's happening, because they must know something is happening to their system when it goes out, all right? We can understand if there's a problem, but this is 3 times this week, and I think it happened about a week or 2 ago before that. So thank you, and I hope that through your office you can get an answer for us as to what's happening.
Working on it.
Rich, in terms of your referrals, at last night's planning board meeting, I wasn't at the meeting because I had to go to the DRI meeting, but I did listen to the video of it this morning, and the planning board did discuss it, so their comments will be referred to the town board, so we should have it soon for that discussion. And Brian, on the EV chargers, I think it's an agenda item. We'll be discussing that further on. Marie, on the water, I think she left, but Marie, and they also tie it into to the comments from Jefferson Village and Dwayne about water. Marie's problems were multifaceted, everything from flooding to pollution, all right? They're very separate issues. In terms of the flooding, one of the problems York has is we're dealing with flooding from development that took place in the 60s and the 70s and the 80s, when we had either no stormwater regulations or we had weak ones. And over the years, it has gotten better. At last night's planning board meeting, they were talking about a development, a single-family home on one lot. And the entire discussion was about the stormwater and the flooding. And that was located on Foothill Street, but the runoff would go into the stream that would go into Lake Mohegan. But this consumed all of the discussion time. And every development that has to be done now, and sometimes even single-family homes, they have to have a stormwater prevention plan. Now, the engineers can say, we're going to design everything so that not a drop of water will come off that site that's not already coming off it. We'll make it better. That's what the engineers will say. And of course, it's the responsibility of our town staff to verify that information. I have to say, it doesn't always work that way, because for years I sat through the discussions of the solar farm on Foothill Street, and there was concern because the land sloped down and it sloped to the Putnam Valley High School. I think it's middle school and high school. And they were very concerned about flooding there. And the engineer for the project said, we're going to take care of it. There's not going to be any flooding. We're going to have retention basins and everything to fix everything. I spoke to somebody recently who works in that school, and she said, yes, there's flooding already. So no matter what the engineer says, but it is something that is looked at every development, and the planning board does take a lot of time to review it. Unfortunately, we have neighborhoods where there was no stormwater done in the 1970s or possibly in the 80s. And so we do have problems that we have to deal with. And Jefferson Village was built in the 70s. So again, we're dealing with what we didn't know then. And we know a lot more now, and we're trying to do better. Joanne, you made comments about the overlay law. Many meetings ago, I don't remember the date, I said that I wanted this board to discuss revising the overlay law to reduce the density requirements. If you go back to the comprehensive plan, which is where they first talked about the concept of an overlay law, it very specifically says that the density would be the same as the underlying zoning, which is the biggest farce that we have, all right? So yes, even before any other overlay project comes before this board, we should look at that. The density has to be changed, and there are other provisions in that law that we've learned from experience need to be changed. And again, one of the things that I would like to see done. Brian, on the recycling, I think Adam gave you an answer in terms of the current status. There's a resolution on the agenda to pay some legal bills to our town attorney's office. And so I checked with the controller just earlier this evening because I wanted to know what we were paying for. And the recycling litigation so far has cost us $29,507. All right? That would just be interesting. And Anthony, on Veterans Road, I brought it up within the context of the DRI application, and I think that needs to be included. And I was disappointed when John said Veterans Road was originally part of the streetscape when we started talking about it in 2022, but that's been taken out. But I think that makes for safety, for walkability. It has multiple advantages, and so I would encourage the town to put that into the application. And I've suggested to the grant writer that this whole concept of walkability and also bicycle safety goes into something called complete streets, which is this concept, and that could be a major portion of our DRI application. And it's something that the state loves. It's like one of the key things. They want revitalization, they want housing, and they would love complete streets. So I urge them to put that in because the grant writer was not familiar with the concept or with the term. And this morning I sent him the link to that. So those are some of my comments.
Thank you, Susan. All right. We are now going to have a discussion about the installation of the EV charging station on town property located at the John C. Hart Memorial Library.
Say a few things before we get into that.
Sure.
One, I want to offer my condolences to the family of Helen Lynch, a former employee of the Yorktown Museum, and a past district governor of Rotary International who passed away on September 30th. She was a member of the Yorktown Rotary and will be sorely missed, and may her memory be a blessing. I also want to congratulate Ann O'Neill, who will be inducted into the Westchester County Senior Hall of Fame in December.
You're being inducted in the Hall of Fame.
Indicted.
Committed? And that's why you got clean water. That's it. It's all that clean water.
And lastly, early voting will begin on Saturday, October 25th, and run through Sunday, November 2nd. General Election Day will be held on November 4th. If you need any information about your polling locations, please contact my office at 914-962-8152. And now on to EV stations. So we had a request from residents to move the location of the EV stations that were to be
Brian,
put at the John C. Hart Memorial Library. We contacted the county, and they have given the town basically 3 alternatives to consider.
I meant that, Brian.
One is to proceed with the current plan, leave them where they are at no cost to the town. The second one is to change the location slightly down so it's not blocking the Christmas tree or the holiday tree, which would be a cost to the town to approximately between $13,000 and $15,000. And the third one is to withdraw the application for this year, reapply in 2026, but it also gives you the opportunity to pick more than one location in town. But you may have to pick up the cost of the engineering costs that have already been done, which could be up to $18,000.
And we're also, with talks with them, we're also not guaranteed of getting it. So then we would be on the hook for everything that's been done, plus not have anything else to be there. There was one other compelling argument, per se, on the location. And I'll ask one of our fire commissioners from the Mohegan Lake Fire District to come on up. Brian D.
Okay, again, I'm here. What do you want to know?
So, Brian, you had pointed out a couple things to me about the placement of the chargers where they are in the event of a fire and having to worry about anything there.
Right, so we know that battery cars can catch fire. Doesn't
Hold
happen
on
a
one
lot.
second. Mr. Brady, have a good night. Get home safe.
Doesn't happen a lot, but it can happen. So you have to always plan for the inevitable. That's the way I always do things. So if you would put these chargers where it's supposed to go now, it's right against East Main Street. So if there was a car that happened to catch fire, all you do with these cars really is kind of surround them and throw water on them and try to keep the surrounding area until they burn out safe. That would mean you probably have to close East Main Street while this car happened to be on fire.
How long does that take?
It could be anywhere from 4 to 8 hours.
Right.
Depends on how long, and
Yeah.
how much water you can throw on it and how bad it gets the fire going. It's the same with the battery storage units. You don't really throw the water on them either. You just kind of surround them and keep
Yeah,
the
you
surrounding area.
wait for them to
And burn
fizzle
it
out. Yeah.
You also know that those fires can go without oxygen. You can throw a blanket on them and they continue to run. I mean, you can take oxygen away; these batteries just ignite. So it's kind of a situation that's not perfect yet. I'm sure sometime it will be, and they'll have boxes. I know that Tesla was working on a box that's completely fireproof, so when the battery is to catch fire, it would stay within the box and not even damage the car. So that's something they're working on.
I
So
heard some
know
crazy
that.
things that like there's ones that were locks and you can't even get out.
Right, yeah. It does
Even
really
if it's in the box,
crazy
it's still
stuff.
going to be fumes and
Well,
all
it's still
that
going to be
stuff,
fumes and all that. And then you have the same problem with this, and you're right against all those houses. Plus, that's really close to the library. So if anybody's in the library, they're going to get evacuated. You have to shut the library down because it's all going to be blocked and everything. So if you put them, it's like 250 feet down with a $30,000, which you get back 17-ish of that. It costs you about 13 grand. So you're saving commuters and all the residents a little bit of aggravation if something happened. You're putting them aesthetically off to the side where they're not in your face in front of the nice, beautiful library that we have. Because I mean, that whole area over there is the only area left that really is aesthetically old school. Everything else is kind of modern. And it saves it so that now if there is a fire, the truck can come into the lot and close it off over there, and the road can still operate pretty much normally. I mean, if there's smoke or something like that, there could be a condition like that, and that might be a problem. But
Safety
you look
first.
you look at what's
but
going on.
you're not closing the street.
You're not closing the whole street because you're moving it over, and that is a small price to pay to keep people safer. And
I tell you, I was indifferent about it, and then I had a conversation with Councilwoman Howitt. She convinced me.
I appreciate that
Yeah.
because I'm just looking at it going,
Safety
it's
first.
just it's too close to the building too. I don't like it there. If that thing did catch fire, the
I
building
also
could
don't
be
want to take a
damaged.
walk and see a box.
That's
I like
another
the
thing.
gazebo. I like the tree. I like
Put it at the end.
And I got kids like Anthony was saying. They run away from me even when I'm looking at them. And if they go and run at the EV charger, if it's a side, a car can sit there and be there for as long as that battery needs, and it gives access, and it's not right off the walk.
Sure, and I'm sure there's going to be cars parked there in the evening hours when the library is closed charging because you can do it. Especially if you lived in a neighborhood that you could walk over on those beautiful
And leave it
sidewalks
there, yeah.
that we'll eventually have with the gorgeous lighting that we'll eventually have, and you can walk over, charge your car, and not have to have it at your house.
Wouldn't that be nice, huh?
It'd be pretty cool not to charge your car at your house, not have to worry about your house burning.
No,
down.
I'm talking about the beautiful lights.
Oh, the lights would be terrific, and the sidewalks and the nice curbs, and there's so much there you could do.
Right.
There is.
Well,
But
I'm
it's all a
glad-
matter of what grant you get. This grant happens to be there, functioning now, available for us. I really think it's a benefit to do it. I just think you need to do it in the right place and think about it.
Sure. So, go
No,
ahead, Susan.
I agree with my colleagues, and I think for $13,000-$14,000, it all makes sense.
Totally.
And thankfully, we have this $24 million fund balance that can be used for an expense like this.
It's something that you can squeeze the money out of. Right.
I think, yeah.
I think you could do that.
I think we
Benefits
can squeeze
everybody.
it out.
Yeah, I think it would benefit everybody.
So, right. So, and you know what? I also want to thank the county for stepping up. We've had a couple of meetings with Ken Jenkins, and the fact that they could cover half of it makes it.
Oh yeah, it's
makes
terrific.
It a lot.
And when I had the meeting with him that couple of Fridays ago, and we were standing there talking to the gentleman, and he was explaining everything and how it worked. And I still think it's a little expensive to move it 250 feet. It's $30,000. I think it's a lot of money.
I think
but
you also have some
part
new
of it is the
engineering to
designing and
happen.
engineering of it. So, but I still think it might be a little costly. But either way, they were covering it, and they were willing to work with us and willing to continue the grant, even though we're going to have to postpone it a few weeks.
Yeah.
So they were pretty
Well,
good about it.
the problem is that they are knocking at the door. So, since I've heard a lot of positivity from the board, would anyone like to make a motion?
I'll make that motion. Oh, Councilwoman Howard.
I mean, I came ready for this.
So I guess.
I'll second it.
So the motion was for Councilwoman Howitt and Councilman Esposito to pay the $14,000 out of pocket. I'm glad
Out of whose pocket?
out of their
Their
pocket.
pocket.
I'm glad that they were so quick.
Small amount of money to pay. Yeah, small amount of money.
So can we have?
Wait,
so
wait.
maybe you want to hear the motion.
Wrong pocket. Wrong pocket.
So if we could have a motion to spend the additional money up to $15,000 to move the EV charging station away from the main exit to the library, as well as the Christmas tree or holiday tree that the community
Away from the street.
has been there. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And will
Thank you,
the-
guys.
when whoever doing the engineering work, will there be a consultation with the town so we know exactly where they're moving it? So there's no dispute about where it's going to go.
That's a good question, because when we went through this, apparently the library has the power to do everything there. So I think you guys might want to look into the library. If they're going to do anything outside of the building externally, they should have to come to one of the boards within the town. You might have to look at their charter and see what they're allowed to do with power they have.
Power,
Actually-
junction boxes that are outside of the.
Yeah, you might have to do something with that.
Just so you know, it's going at the library, but it's actually a town project.
Property, right? And
No, it's a town project.
Town-
We're the authority going for the grant, so it's a town project.
So it's a town project, so it has to come back here either way.
Maybe we
something
should
like
drop some conduits when they open the ground to move the chargers, and we can have some lights from that.
Well, there just has to be some
Awesome idea.
consultation. So you mark an X on the parking lot exactly where it's going to be, so everybody knows, and we're not surprised. And then we have to go through this again. Say, no, that's not where we wanted.
The only question I have is that she was saying that those 6 spaces were going to be specifically designed for just the cars. So you come there with a regular gas-powered automobile, you wouldn't be able to park in those 6 spaces. I don't know if they're going to ticket them, tow them, whatever. But, I mean, you're going to take 6 spaces away from the library. That might change some of the parking layout in there. You might have to do something with the site plan. I don't know how that works. That's not my forte. But 6 spaces are going to be negative all the time because you're not going to have that many cars.
I'm sure John Taggart will be involved in this.
So he could probably get
at
his-
some
yeah.
point, right, John?
Shaking his head, no.
He just says yes to whatever.
Yeah, she was
All
kind
right.
of thinking like that far corner.
All right, guys,
The best spot for
we've
it. So,
already
I thank you guys
we've
a lot.
already voted.
Yep,
right?
thank
I want to move on. Brian, but in all
Thanks for your input.
sincerity, thank you for the input. Thank Beth, because I know that that was there. Yep, and
That was
I'm
very
glad we could do
awesome.
that.
Thanks for stepping
Thanks,
up.
Brian.
Moving on.
All right, resolutions from the building department. Authorize a refund to Teton Lake Reservation the amount of $4623.89. The remaining balance for consultant review of the Nature Center. Authorize the supervisor to sign agreement with David A. Tetro, Architect, PC, to provide said services for the replacement of a ramp and construction of a portico at Town Hall in the amount of $9,000.
Can you explain? Is that to replace this?
We're actually going to move the ramp so it's a straight run, get rid of the bottom part. There's redoing some of the step work, the curbing, but it's
Is
that
the ramp needed now that we have the? Why is the ramp? It was needed for
So-
a temporary basis while we were redoing the front.
So the short ramp out is, God forbid, there's someone with disabilities here that has a wheelchair, and there's a fire over here, and they can't get down steps. We can replace a staircase there, but I think it would be a lot cheaper or inexpensive to just take that ramp and lift it so it comes out on the sidewalk. And now we have a second egress for those with disabilities. We don't need it by law, but I think from a safety point of view, it's great.
It's like a fire exit.
Basically, it's a ADA fire exit. And the beautiful thing is, most of this will end up getting recouped from insurance.
Okay, and what is the portico?
The original plans had a little portico covering, so when our residents are coming in and out of town hall, there's
They
a
don't
little
think it's
protection
soaked.
from the elements
At
at the front door.
The front entrance.
So that was on some original plans, and we're trying to get that back on.
So will that be, if the ramp is covered for insurance because of the accident, what about the cost of the portico?
No, that'll be part of probably out of fund balance or out of the budget for that.
You have any ballpark cost as to what that would be?
We did have something back in the day. We could pull
There's
that
something in the day, but that's why we have David working on some things, and he'll do some.
Are
costs.
we talking about a $50,000 just for the portico? I'm talking
it-
50,000, 100,000. I have no idea.
Susan, I don't have the number. We were looking at the plans, but I don't know if John remembers the number. If he does, he could come up, but he looks perplexed. Yeah. Oh, okay.
I thought Davina was working on it, but I guess maybe you guys never Did it?
All right,
Okay.
you're gonna get yelled at, John. You know that.
Sorry, John.
So that's that. Authorize a refund to T-Town Lake Reservation, the amount of $5,075.56 for the remaining balance for consultant review of the education building. Some exciting things going on in T-Town. Make sure you get down there.
Yeah, that's great.
Authorize a refund to Guiding Eyes in the amount of $1,992.81. The remaining balance for consultant review of the new Canine Center, which Carol and I went on a tour of the new and the old the other day on the 30th, I think it was, and what an amazing job they're doing there. The advances in how they are able to raise the dogs and help the stress level with the new kennels is just going to be amazing. And then we saw the stress level in the old kennels by going there, where there are 100 dogs in a pod area versus the 10 to 12 that'll be here. So some great things, and Guiding Eyes does some great work.
I'm going to go sit in the kennel if it relieves my stress level.
There you go.
Sounds good to me.
Authorize, reject, and rebid for air conditioning services for the town of Yorktown.
Why are we rejecting? Did we not like the cost, or we didn't get only one bid, or what?
I believe there's only one bid.
Yes.
Are we changing the bid specs, or just?
I'm not sure if the department head is doing that. That's a question for him. And I ask that we also pass one to authorize the town clerk to advertise an RFP for vending machine services.
Oh, I have it written in here. From the central garage, authorize the vehicles listed below to be deemed obsolete and either scrapped at Brookfield Resource Management or sold at auction by Absolute Auction and Realty, Inc. From the clerk's office, set public hearing to consider the application received from Frank Criollo for a stormwater management and tree permit to construct a new home at 436 East Main Street, Jefferson Valley, New York. And I believe that is one that we had a question by a resident on right away. John, is that property?
Yes.
The right of way question I sent you? Okay, Dan got back to me. There is a right of way.
It's a private road.
That they have. Yep.
A portion. Dave said to me, the initial portion off of Wood Street is public, and then the rest of it's private. So, and I don't know where this parcel, which is at the end of Nelson. Yeah.
Yep.
All right, I think Dan pulled it. I'll forward it to you. And if you didn't get it in your email.
Would you let me know also, because I've
Yeah.
been in touch with the
I thought he sent
person.
it to everyone, but I'll check it out. Set public hearing to consider a site plan amendment for property located on Front Street, Yorktown, New York, submitted by Tanto Irrigation LLC for the purpose of adding fencing and the removal of a building off of the site plan. Authorize a change in date for department head review of the budget to November 6th and 7th, 2025. It was originally scheduled for the following week, so we moved that to the Thursday and Friday after Election Day. From the Finance Department, authorize additional funding for the Section 8 program.
I have a question here. The resolution says expenses associated with the 2025 healthcare benefits, and then it says to fund the 2024. I thought is this just, and didn't we already do something for the 2024 budget?
Not for Section 8. I don't
Yes,
think-
for Section 8. I thought we did. I
No,
forgot.
we might have done it the last meeting. Is that a typo, Diana? Or?
I can't answer that question. It's written by Janelle.
Okay, we will.
Yeah, because I'm sorry.
We'll take a look. There's probably a typo on one, and maybe it was that we did the 2024 funding and she forgot to.
And is this for 2025? Because we knew we would need this also. So do we pass this?
No.
Do we pass this
No,
the way it is?
it's for 2024 because we haven't incurred 2025 yet as a whole. I don't think. Oh no, wait. Yeah, maybe she is.
But she's right. We did pass something last.
We did pass something for 2024 because I remember when Janelle first brought this up with Sandrine, there was this question. At that point she said she didn't know what the 2025 cost would be, But if we've already done 24, and here, just because we have the 2 dates there, that's why it was confusing to me.
I'm looking.
What was on the last agenda?
Yeah, I forgot to check that, but I just remember we voted for it.
We'll pass through it for now. We'll get the rest. We'll come back and see if.
So we'll skip this or what?
Sergio's going to look it up.
Oh, all right.
Authorize the comptroller to process the following.
Possibly, it was very soon, yeah.
To process the following budget transfer and pay Fernando Dennis the cash value of unused time as of his date of resignation, as enumerated below. Authorize the comptroller to process the following budget transfer payment to Bleakley, Platt, and Schmidt for extraordinary legal services.
And on that, I did have the additional costs because I was curious as what they were for. As I said earlier, the recycling was $29,507. Navajo was $1,375, and I was wondering what that was for. $5,095 was for a personnel issue, and $2,973 was for Hunter Brook, which I assume is at the Bartolini code enforcement case.
Yes.
And what was the Navajo expense for?
Here's the second.
Various tasks related to development, proposed development.
When does Beakley, their planning board issues are covered by their retainer, so why would we pay additional money to?
Things outside that.
Can that be itemized, so we would know what it is?
It is itemized.
No, I think it just said Navajo.
It's
Itemized bills that are sent every month.
Nope, not on this one.
All right, because I'd like to know why we're paying a bill for Navajo. I can understand the others. And the Hunter Brook, there's a long-standing code enforcement case involving a property.
Susan,
owner.
I really think that's because it's a legal issue that we shouldn't really be discussing it.
Well, but I'm just saying it's a code enforcement case, it's incurring legal costs.
Okay. From the Highway Department, authorize the controller to release the following tie into town drainage permit 24-004 in the amount of $1,000 to East Slade, 235 California Road. From Human Resources, authorize the supervisor to sign a contract with ESI Employment Assistance Group for an employee assistance program at a total annual cost of $26.89 per employee. And that'll give us an option to renew for a year as well. From the John C. Hart Memorial Library, authorize the supervisor to sign a service level agreement with Westchester Library Systems for interlibrary loan systems, ILS, network managed services, device support, and maintenance service, wireless support, and digital content in the amount of $103,545.28. Authorize the supervisor to sign an intermunicipal agreement with the County of Westchester to reimburse the town of Yorktown for the cost of installing EV charging stations on town property located at the John C. Hart Memorial Library. From the Parks and Recreation Department, authorize obsolete equipment no longer used for public use to be auctioned by Absolute Auction and Realty, and that is some pool lounge chairs and 700 linear feet of pool grating. From the Police Department, authorize a member of the Police Department to attend a conference involving one overnight stay and a typo, it is for November 13th of 2025. Not October. And that is in beautiful downtown Albany.
No, I only have that one.
Authorize a police department to purchase 5 license plate readers, LPRs, and required equipment, software, and connectivity off of state contract. And this is what the chief was talking about before. From the planning department, reappoint.
You should probably just let people know it's paid for through a grant.
Yes, that we did receive a nice-sized technology grant for our police department, so that'll actually be used through that. Reappoint Nancy Calicia as the Administrative Assistant to the Conservation Board. And that will be its services of a per diem rate of $225 per meeting, which includes a meeting and beyond meeting preparation, coordination, and other administrative duties associated with the business of the Conservation Board. From the Town Attorney's Office, adopt an ADA compliant policy and procedures. Tracy Kuzamax, the town's personnel manager, shall serve as the town's ADA coordinator. Motion to refer out an RFP for the provision of vending machine services at the Albert A. Capellini Community and Cultural Center. Looking at that, we changed it to an RFP. We had someone who brought it in, but it's a cleaner look to have that request for proposal and see what we get out of that.
Are we specifying locations at the building?
That's part of the proposal.
It will be in the RFP. Okay, has the RFP been written yet?
There's a draft that I received, but it's not ready to go yet.
Would you please submit, I'd like to see the draft.
Authorize the supervisor to sign an agreement with Weston and Sampson PELSLA Architectures PC for the engineering services related to the Mercer Road water main replacement for a total cost of $14,700. And just a little explanation here. Mercer Road it intersects with Commerce or with Crampon Road, and it is a basically an asbestos pipe, which is not asbestos. It has asbestos in it. It's some of the piping that we've been trying to change out, the transite pipes. So we've had a couple of breaks on it. The transite pipe is not as resilient as the cast iron.
Yeah.
And these are some of the things when we spoke earlier about fund balance. This has to come out of the water department fund balance. It can't come out of general fund balance because the water department is its own entity. They collect their revenue based on water usage. But this is why there are charges on your water bill for maintenance and projects.
Did you figure out beyond the
Yeah,
agenda
the only
in
thing-
section
So on September 9th, I'm sorry, did you want to? On September 9th, we had a discussion on funding. And then on September 16th, Luke?
We talked about, we signed the authorization for the civil rights.
Yeah, it was authorized town Section 8 program director to sign the annual civil rights certificate.
And it was just
No.
it was just a
That's
new
what
one.
we voted on.
No, but we also had a budget. We had a budget resolution.
I don't,
Unless we read
we
it
just
in
went back to July.
On the 9th, we had, well, it's gotta be after the 9th, because on the 9th, we had a discussion on funding in Section
Is the resolution
That's
for
what we had, a discussion.
2024 or
So I don't-
2025 for the funding of the health care.
Unless we read it in, it's not on our agendas.
I don't think it was.
I think it
ever
was
in.
there.
I remember discussing it because we didn't have the actual numbers.
Yeah, that was
Yeah,
September 9th.
Sarah's really good at this note taking with me, and I went on the agenda.
I just-
16th is when we voted on
Put it in my
the,
notebook.
to authorize Sandrine to sign the civil
I
rights
remember
certificate.
that, but
Let's see if our comptroller is still awake for a minute or two. We'll give her. She may be blind by now. We've been working on the budget, and
I
she
think
just
this is
completed a
accurate.
first pass through.
I think it's accurate as well.
And then this today's meeting.
so this resolution still has to be clarified whether it's, because it says 2024 and 2025.
Well, we can't vote on 2025
But it
yet.
might-
The question is, did we vote on 2024 already? And I think the answer is no. I think we voted on the civil rights agreement.
Well, I'll tell you what. We have agreed for the 2025 health care. We have to fund the 2024 Section 8 deficit. I believe this is correct. I think the deficit was to push forward the money for 2025.
Correct.
So, can I have a motion?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
And we are in the school year.
Yes, well, it's
From
not,
25
it's,
to 26.
it's not the school year, but I
No,
think
but
it,
I'm saying this is the 24 and 25. We're backfilling 24, and we're setting up for 25.
All right, say the magic words, man.
I don't think there are any. Motion to hang out another hour? Motion to adjourn.
Early.
Motion.
It's only 11 o'clock.
Do I have a,
Second it,
do I have a
please.
second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Yorktown, good night.
Night,
and Thank you.
Yorktown.
Happy Columbus Day.